Hi, I'm the
What?
professor.
And my name's Tick. Welcome to our podcast. So, not sponsored. We like Wawa more. We're not going to talk about that again.
Yeah, and we're trying to think of some donut name
Donut
for
name Henry. No.
Tim. It was
Tim
like Tim
Horton.
Hardy's
Tim
or
Horton.
yeah, Tim
It's
Horton.
Tim
That's it.
Horton. Okay,
Yes.
so I like Dunkin' Donuts, but that's only
Uh-huh.
because I don't have a Wawa. And you were
Yeah.
bringing up the fact that when you were in West Virginia,
There was one Wawa and then Tim Hortons everywhere.
and that's what we
Yeah.
were just trying to remember. And I got everything set up today. I
Cool.
brought the power back here. I set the power up. I brought the laptop back here, connected everything, turned it on. There's only one problem. Forgot to plug the power in. So we're literally recording. It just cut out because, like an
Yeah.
idiot, I forgot to plug it in. So we're plugged
That
in now.
makes sense.
But
Cool.
that's why it disappeared like that. And that's why I
I'm
was like,
surprised it lasted that long.
we're just going to start over. Yeah, I've had it
Yeah.
on for like 2-3 hours because I've been getting stuff set up and things.
Yeah.
This week's show, I will be
Mhm.
controlling with an Xbox controller and go through the buttons real quick. This is not the beginning of the show. I'm just showing that it works on this button.
Hold on.
Hold on. And then here's the outro.
Oh my god.
And the show's over.
All right,
We're
thank
done.
you, guys.
Woohoo!
Yep.
Best show ever. Cut that together and make that a promo.
Yeah.
And then on the buttons, I have
Uh-huh.
the ability. Let me do this. Do 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 do. I can do. Is it this button? Yes. This shows us the stuff that we're going to be looking at. Back to the show. And then Stump
It is
the
now time.
Professor. And then, of course, if you got anything to send us. So
Yep.
at any time, just tell me to throw that up. I've got the buttons.
Okay.
I've got the skills. So.
Oh. Don't talk about throw up. Oh.
Oh, yeah. That's what we were just about to talk about. So
Oh.
apparently you had pizza tonight. We're not going to name the company because we don't want to have any issues, just like Dunkin' Donuts is going to sue us. So.
I'm
What
fine
happened
if
after
I'm
you had
sponsored by
pizza?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, yeah, I'd be fine. But if we're going to
Yeah.
talk about throw up, I don't think they're going to want to sponsor us, this pizza company.
No.
That's a major one.
No. It is, and it's also a game that you can play too.
Yes.
And mostly
Yes.
old people play it. So that's
oh.
it.
Not in Southern California. A lot of gang members
Really?
play it in Southern California. A lot of gang members.
Oh.
Have you watched the movies? It's always in every movie. It's a
I
40
mean,
sitting next to these things.
yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
play and they not that we're giving it away or nothing. So anyway, you had pizza
No.
today.
Yeah, I don't want pizza for like a year now.
I'm just surprised you're doing the show. If I was as sick as it
I'm
sounds like
good.
you were, I'd be like,
I'm
I'm
good.
bailing, dude. I'm in the
it
bathroom.
all,
It's
yeah,
all
it's
out.
all out of me.
It's all gone.
It's out. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I was going to bring up food, but you're not feeling good.
It's
so
okay.
we'll
I'm
skip
hungry.
that. Oh,
So.
well, I got a burrito, carne asada burrito from down the way.
Oh,
down the
that
way.
sounds so much better than crappy
real-
pizza.
Yeah, it's real deal carne asada too. Like it's
Yeah.
got that special flavor. It's like a mole flavor or something.
Yeah,
do
where they
something
haven't
to
cleaned
it.
the grill in like a month.
Yeah, or
Flavor.
ever. Or
Or ever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
that's-
really need to
I
clean
miss
the
that.
grill. Isn't
Yes.
that optional? Well,
I think so.
did we ever talk about the place in Chicago? I think there's one in Jersey too. So Jersey has a place that sells what are called rippers. And they basically are hot dogs that go into a fryer. And the reason they're called rippers is because they rip open.
Oh,
Have you ever heard of that place? Yes, no?
no, but that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and then the other one is a place, I think it's in Chicago, and they cook their burgers in like sort of like a wok, but it's got like 6 inches of oil, and they cook. I'm glitched again. No,
Oh man, you are.
this is killing me. Stupid.
You're killing me,
computer.
Smalls.
You're killing me. Weren't we? Burrito? And they're
We were.
Chicago, the burger.
Chicago.
So in
Yeah.
Chicago, they have this place where they cook the burgers in grease and like oil that's been there forever. And this oil is ridiculously old. They basically just reuse it over
Ugh.
and over and
I
over.
don't
Like
know.
they strain out like the stuff,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
it's the same oil over
Ugh.
and over and over
I bet.
again.
I mean, does that sound good to you?
They say it's amazing. Like that's what I was gonna say. Is I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my god, that sounds disgusting. But people were like, nah, man, it's really good. You should have some. Do this to it.
Oh.
Everything's freaking hot.
Well, yeah,
That's the
that's
bomb.
like White Castle, where everybody's like, White Castle burgers are amazing, and I go there and I'm like,
Yeah, White
you're
Castle
just
burgers are not
mm,
amazing. They are great
mm.
when you're drunk at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. Because they soak up all the alcohol, like all of it,
Yeah,
like all the
I
alcohol
can
is
see that.
gone.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm back. So yeah,
Hi.
that is the oil story. Yeah, like I had heard about that place, and I was like, ew, 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 ew,
It
and
just
then I'm
sounds
like,
gross.
it does sound gross, but then I wanted to go. The Ripper sounded gross to me too. Well, they've got different levels. Like they have this one that's just basically charcoal. It comes
Is
out
there
as
one
like,
called Jack the Ripper? Because I would eat that one.
ooh, that's a good one actually. They should put like
Yeah.
spicy stuff in it that like cuts.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Lots of hot sauce
Lots of hot sauce.
to make it look like it's all bloody.
So this is week 8, if you
Whew.
guys are paying
Week
attention at
8.
home. And it's the cleanup show. We're going to be going through stuff that we've been talking about that we were going to talk about in the future or that we put on the list and we've never talked about. So it's a pretty
Yep.
packed show. The first thing I wanted to ask you before I hit the intro to the show is how is your windshield? You had gotten that
Oh,
swapped.
it's great. Yeah, it's
How
swapped
long did
out.
it take?
It's like an hour and a half,
That's
and
not bad.
it came out to like 265. So
That's not
we're
bad
good.
either. And guy
Yeah.
came right to you, right? You didn't have to go
Yeah,
nowhere?
two guys showed up to my house,
Yep.
and they fixed it. And
It's
that's
weird
it.
to
It's
me the things that
better
have
than the one
become
that was on
that
there.
was there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way
Does
better.
it have the tinting at the top? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it
Okay.
has like maybe 6 inches, and then it like fades into like my shield.
I
So
got you. Yeah. That's what I was basically saying. I'm trying to blow some air on this Raspberry Pi because I'm fairly certain what is happening.
it's overheating,
somehow. Yeah. I'm touching the memory card. The
and
way
it's
that I'm
hot.
running it, yeah, it's hot, dude. Like my hand is like, ow. And the thing is, it's not doing anything. Like it literally is doing nothing right now. It is sending an image out.
Yeah.
I'm not asking the processor to do anything. I'm not even asking it to think. You know what I mean? But I have those other processes running because it is a full-blown server right now. Anyway.
Yeah. No,
So
you're
your car
good.
windshield, that's not
Good.
bad. 265.
Yeah.
I was thinking about all the stuff they've switched to bringing to you. Like they'll auto
Yes.
detail at your house. They'll come
Oh,
and walk your dog.
yeah.
They'll change your
I'm
windshield.
thinking of getting a new car soon,
They'll bring
and
that to you.
they're gonna bring that to me. They'll test drive stuff. I just need to find a used car that I like. So
That makes
yeah.
perfect sense. We have Carvana out here. Have you seen
We
Carvana?
do too. Yes.
Do you guys have the big giant like car vending
Glass
machine?
building. Yes.
With the cars in it?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently you can actually just be like button press, and then it lowers your car
Really?
like an M&M's machine. Now my question is, when it gets stuck, do you like hit it with like a 4x4 to like get the thing to fall down?
Can you get your arm in there and grab a car?
Oh, that'd be hilarious. If someone's got their hand up in there. They're like, I'm going to get this one. It's tiny. It's a Fiat. It's a 500 Fiat. I can get it.
Smart car. Just drop. Okay.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I saw a smart car the other day, and literally I was wondering where the other half was. I was
Right.
like, it's
Yeah.
like half a car. And I think 3 smart cars make up my current car because I have an 88 Caprice Classic. We call it the, my partner and I call it there's a band that has a song that does a thing. Sits about 20. Come on. Bring your jukebox money. Love
No
Shack.
idea.
Oof.
Love
I hate it when I
Shack,
can't
okay.
remember. And
Oh,
we could probably
you
fit, like,
totally
6,
sung
7
like the
lines.
lyrics that I forgot that was even in that song. If you would have been like, I got me a car and I drive it real far, I would have been like, yeah, Love Shack, you got it. Yeah.
But I do the one, you're like, what
You're
song's
like-
that in? I've never heard
like,
that
what
line
it
before.
sounds.
We always sing the sits about 20 line because it's just a boat, man. For whatever reason, I've been able to navigate it pretty well, and it's got a good engine in it for California. It's a horrible car for anywhere else in the country because it'll rust out in about 7 minutes. But in California, it's got a nice size engine to get on highways and to merge and do stuff. And the other day, you've been on 405. I had to go on 405 again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on 405, which if you've never been on 405, it's horrible. Don't go. It's at one point it's a 12-lane highway that's always packed. It's just always packed. And I was doing 70. So any guesses what was happening? Let me use my fancy button. Is this it? Stump.
It is now time to play Stump the Professor, or it's just Tick asking questions that the professor knows nothing about.
I think it's the second one. Just asking you questions you know nothing about.
So you were doing 70.
I was doing 70. And what was happening with the traffic around me? Any guesses? I'm 70. I'm flying, doing 70.
Same thing, because you were going in between rush hours?
Nope. I was going so slow that people were literally passing me as though I was doing 20. Like, I had a dude, he must have been doing a $110. Just whoosh, he just sort of blurred right by me. Anytime I'm doing 70, people are always flying by me like I'm standing still. It is a 65-mile-an-hour road.
Well, right, but the thing with California is you can be doing 70 for like 3 miles and then everybody's stopped.
Yep.
Like complete stopped, like a mile ahead of you. Yeah. And then you don't know what's going on. So, that stresses me out.
Oh, no, I get it completely. And me too. You see, it's better in a modern car that has like anti-lock brakes, but I have an old 88. So like if it's raining or anything and I hit the brakes, I just sort of down the road. Luckily in Southern California, it hardly rains. So the reason that I brought that up was in my head, I'm like, fine, I'll try to go their speed. Like I'll try to keep up with them. As soon as I got to 80, 85, my car was like, oh, thank God. Why have you been driving 70 for so long? The engine just doesn't like 70. Like, I mean, it runs fine. It's not like it's like, but as soon as I gave it more gas and I went into the 80-mile range, it was like I hit another smooth patch. Like the car was like,
oh, nice.
Happy now. But I just find that hilarious, especially for an 88. It is a very desirable car. I'm selling it in case anybody wants to buy it. I've had multiple people ask me about it, and then I'll tell them like, "Hey, I'm trying to get this much money for it," and they're like, "I'll think about it. Is it working?" I'm like, "Yeah, it runs," and that's all I say. Because honestly, I think I could count more things that don't work on it than do work on it. It's one of those kind of cars. It still works, though.
Yeah. No, my first car was like a 85 Mustang. Whoa. And I paid like $900 off the side of the road for the thing. And when I went to sell it, I redid the inside to it. I put new speakers in it, and it was fine, but it was close to like, I want to say like 200,000 miles on that thing.
That engine was ready to explode.
And and someone actually went like this to the tailpipe and put his finger around it and went, no, I'm not buying that from you. And I went, what did you just find out? Like,
right. What was magic sauce do you know about?
What did you do? And why did you lick it?
What would be funnier? What would be funnier? She's like, that's just my thing, man. I'm into tailpipes. Just into tailpipes. So what did you say?
I was like 23 and I was like, what did you just do?
Right.
Why did
what was
you
the
rub
answer?
Your finger? And he was just like, oh, you can taste if you have any like oil leaks or anything like that. Right. It's like a gritty type of a thing. And then if you taste it, you can see how long oil's been in your, and I was like, I don't know that much about cars. I did. But
did
if you say
sell
so.
It? Did somebody come on?
I bought it for like 900. I sold it for like 15.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We're good.
My first car that I ever owned, I actually had it in my parents' driveway for a while because I didn't actually have a license. That's a long story. We'll tell that story in the future. But it was a Maverick. And, of course, since my nickname's Tick, it became the Mav Tick. Every car I had was some Tick variation. Turbo Tick, Mav Tick. Anyway, It took as
freeze
much...
tick because you're
Exactly.
frozen again.
Oh, I am. Stupid computer. Okay, we're done with that. That was easy. I will switch to This is an on-the-fly switch.
That's
Stay
cool.
with us, everybody. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. This is the best part of the show. You get to
I wonder
see
where they came
behind
up
the
with that.
scenes.
Like on the fly. Was it like a fly landing on someone, or did someone shoot something on a fly and they're like, on a fly?
It's so funny that you say that because you've heard what happened at the debates, right?
Yes, 100%.
So when you said that, that's immediately what my brain did. My brain was like...
And my mind just went, his hair was so full of like hairspray and product. Yep. Like it was a helmet. He could have fell on it and been protected. So yeah, that's it.
Pearl. 1 second.
You're good. That was a quick change too.
Whew. There we go.
Cool.
I'm back. So
yeah, you are.
Now I'm on the GoPro, away from the Raspberry Pi, which is sad because I love the Raspberry Pi. I'm gonna have to figure out. It works really well with my Pi Zero. It's just, I can tell you right now, this thing is freaking hot. I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because that's the new high quality camera, and I will tell you with 100% certainty, it's better than this GoPro. Like the GoPro's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that camera, first of all, it's an interchangeable lens camera. And
that's super cool.
You can obviously get a lot of different lenses for it. Duh.
Right.
Hence the term. Give me a second. My computer's being my computer and doing whatever it wants. I'm trying to get to my... There we go. Whew. That took forever. And hit... this one. Man, I knew the buttons today. And then, there it is. Okay. Why is it shadowed like that?
I don't know.
Oh, I know
why.
I know why. It's my fancy setup. It always lets me down when I try to get fancy. Display one. There we go. Oh, there we go. It took a second to catch up.
Yeah, you're good.
That picture right there was taken with this camera. It's
That's
a moon
awesome.
shot. And the reason that is because
for those of you listening on the podcast, it's someone's butt. They're actually mooning someone.
Oh, that's horrible. The real answer is it is a moon.
You gotta watch the show.
The real answer is it is a moon. It's just not that kind of moon.
The moon. No.
But you need to watch the YouTube to find out if we're lying or not.
Right.
So the Raspberry Pi camera I like a lot more because you have the ability to swap lenses and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the problem that I'm having is the camera that I've set up, the system that I've set up gets too hot because it's actually running a full server.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Just a camera. And so when I hook up a Pi Zero to it, sorry, I forgot which, I was looking at this camera, which is the camera that was there. So
it's okay.
When I hook up the Pi Zero to it, for anybody that doesn't know Raspberry Pis, it is a $35 credit card size computer, and it came out about 7-8 years ago, and they've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. So the Pi Zero is the size of a lighter. Of course, I don't have one within arm's reach because I can't take these headphones off. Here it is. This is literally the one that I use right here. This is a Pi Zero.
Nice.
And then this is the HDMI. And then I take it over to my recorder and we record it. So that's how I usually do it. Today, of course, I'm using the Pi 4 and it's crapped out, 3 times? And it's not its fault. I'm not blaming the Pi 4. I have that thing doing too much stuff and I should probably throttle it back so that it doesn't overheat.
Yeah.
Back to the show. Easily gotten off of track. So, we've talked about your windshield, which took us 20 minutes. How's the weather?
20 minutes from. Weather's good. It's starting to cool down, but I think tomorrow it's going to be in like the 60s, and then it's going to be cold for Halloween.
Any
and
leaf
then
changing?
crappy snow.
Yeah, do you have
yes.
the leaf? Okay. Yeah, we don't have any foliage in Southern California.
Yeah.
So,
what, palm trees turn brown? I don't think
exactly.
that happens.
No. And we don't have the weather for it either.
Right. Yeah.
Our weather's been the same. 78. Nice.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hot today in the house. Basically, this house has zero insulation. And so the heat from outside just directly transfers inside from the sun. So we have to cool the inside of the house down. If we had decent insulation, I don't think this house would hardly go above like 75 ever. Because we're near the beach and the weather's great here. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yep.
Shield Maiden, this is for you. I am wearing these right now to tell you I've been told what the bet is, the payoff of the bet. So I'll be ready.
Yeah.
That is a hint. And you should watch our live October 27th show.
Yes.
Just saying. Hopefully this will be out before that. Otherwise,
graphics are wait that way. Graphics are that way. So
yes. Graphics are that way. Right now on the screen. Read what's happening. We're gonna have Night of the Living Dead. We have special guests.
Yeah, and we're gonna stream on Twitch. So just search our username.
And our username is
TP Show Live. Don't go to TP Show because that's not us. That's some like 5-year-old. Yeah. It's
Terrence and Phillip, let's be honest. Last on my list of stuff we just talk about in general, and then we'll kick off the show. We haven't even started the show yet. How are the kids?
No. Kids are good. So it was Philip's birthday over the weekend.
We went the birthday cake picture, by the way.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I'll put it on the side so everybody can see it.
I was just going to make my best expression or my best impersonation of it, because I've only seen it like once or twice, but it was kind of like...
Yes.
And then you take that picture and slap it on top of a cake. So.
Yeah. I mean, we went to 31 Flavors and got him an ice cream cake, and
love ice cream.
They print it right on it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was like a mint chip with vanilla cake. So
that sounds awesome.
That's what he wanted.
See, I'm more of a Fudgy the Whale kind of guy. Like that's a Northeast thing. Like they had one place near us, Carvel ice cream cakes with Fudgy the Whale, and I can't remember all the other ones. But we have a 31 Flavors down the street. I've had their ice cream cakes. They're really tasty.
Yeah.
Party was good?
We went. Yeah, it was great. We went to an apple farm.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Cider Farms. Yeah, so he got to pick. I mean, like all the kids. We had 6 kids with us, so
now here's a question for you: how much is a basket these days? Because I remember when we used to go to the apple orchard, it'd be like you bought a basket and then go
watch out.
Yeah, then go put sunglasses in. Then go put as many apples as you want in it.
That's pretty much what it was, and we just did like one basket for each family. So there was just 2 families, and it cost us $12. So not bad. And then we bought pumpkins too.
How much were the pumpkins? Like $3-4 a pop?
50 cents a pound. So they were pretty cheap, honestly.
Yeah. No. I get that. I was just wondering because they grow some big pumpkins, and it can get pricey quick.
It was the first time because I'm from California. Mm-hmm. And I don't go to pumpkin patches. This was my first time. I just go to the grocery store.
Yeah, if you're in California, you go to a pumpkin patch, you will be killed.
Right?
That's what I was waiting for you to say. Like, there were 17 people murdered in pumpkin patches in California. Why would you go there?
Right? Yeah. What? You go to the grocery store and you're like, here you go.
It's called sarcasm, people. I was joking. Nobody's been killed at a pumpkin patch, knocking on wood, in California recently, like the last week.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad you specified like last week.
You're right. You go to the store. It's kind of like by comparison to other parts of the country where you can go to a farm and you get that farm experience.
It was the first time that I've seen green pumpkins, so I bought 2.
Smart. Did you get any of the really naughty ones? The ones that have like all the bumps and stuff?
No, but there was a lot of them there.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
So
just left.
For the 27th, I was thinking about this, and what the reason I thought about this, in our basket right over there, right over there, is apples that have been there forever. And I remembered a thing that we did when we were kids. Did you ever do shrunken heads?
I don't think so.
So take an apple and carve a face in it. You can leave skin on it if you want, but you can take the skin off. It's up to you, either way. And then squirt it with some lemon juice and just leave it sit out. And as it dehydrates, it shrinks a little and gets it looks just like a shrunken head. I'm not joking.
That's awesome.
And I was thinking, I'm going to try it for the 27th. You should try it as well. Well, at least we'll have a story about some rotten apples that are sitting in our living room or kitchen or whatever.
Yeah, why is there bugs all around us? I don't know. Yeah.
Mom, why is there an infestation of flies? Is this the Poltergeist movie?
What about your weekend?
It was going to behind the Orange Curtain. For anybody that's not from Southern California, the Orange Curtain is Orange County, and it's like an entirely different universe. Like, everybody knows about LA. Everybody knows about Hollyweird. And what I mean by that is you see it on television stuff. They never talk about Orange County. Orange County is like the exact opposite of LA. Like in LA,
except for that Jack Black movie, Orange County.
Oh yeah, but if you watch that movie, they have isms in there. That meaning they have Orange County isms in it. But you're right, they do put it in a favorable light. And I don't mean there's anything wrong with Orange County.
I like Orange County. My cup of tea. Yeah. Oh, I liked it because I grew up on that side.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you grew up in Orange County. Orange County seems nice. The problem that I have with it is that it is very conservative. As an example, I think I've told you this story before. I attempted to get a job in Orange County, and I went to the job and I applied for it, went through the whole, go to the interview, did the whole interview. At the end of the interview, the dude looked at me and he's like, just letting you know, it's an unwritten rule. You have to shave your beard, cut your hair off, and then you can work here, potentially, because we might not even hire you. That's cool, right?
I would be like, nope.
And that's exactly what I said. And then I called HR afterwards to say, just making sure you still have this unwritten rule. And they took down the posting, reposted it, stalled me for like 3 months, called me back and said, oh, by the way, on or about the date that you applied, we got rid of that unwritten rule. So we don't have that anymore. And since then, it's against the law in California to discriminate against a man who has long hair. So, like, if you go to apply for a job and they're like, "Oh, you got long hair, we're not going to hire you," you could get them in trouble. So that's kind of cool. Meaning, I'm glad that I'm a protected class now. Hippie long.
I think
hair.
I am too. So I don't know.
No hair.
People with no hair.
Yeah, people with no hair. I totally get it. Well, we've gotten to the end of the pre-show, and so it's time for the most important thing. Time to kick off the show.
Hold on to your butts, you're in for an experience like no other. You are about to partake in the most bodacious experience ever, the Tick and Professor Show.
My name's Tick, still.
I'm the professor, still.
Excellent. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh, you were going to say the first thing. I wanted to steal the show and do a first thing.
You do it.
Okay. So go down on the list to Crosby said this about Eddie Van Halen.
Saw that. Have it already.
I was like, what the heck?
Yep.
What the heck?
Queued. I have feelings about this. There is the news story. Is there a way I can do like a 500%? I'm trying to get it easier for you for post because it's hard to see some of this stuff. There we go.
There you go. So Dave Crosby had a really classy response here.
Anybody in the audience that's young, Dave Crosby was in a band called Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. That was his biggest group. I think Crosby, Stills, and Nash was huge as well.
Yeah.
But I loved it with Young on the end. So he's a famous old guy musician. Now hit it, Professor. Talk about him.
So he got asked on his Twitter today because for those of you who didn't know, Eddie Van Halen passed away, and it's really sad.
Very sad.
And I mean, if you don't know Van Halen, go back and I mean, there's multiple
Oh my God, I
vocalists.
didn't even think of that. Okay, so Van Halen is a band. One of their most
Yes.
famous albums is 1985. So obviously,
Yes.
if you were born in 2020, like if you were born in the 2000s, odds are good you potentially have never heard of Van Halen. Van Halen
And
had
if
two...
you-
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you listen to one CD and you don't like the vocalist, just go get another one because there's a different one.
That's exactly
So,
what I was going to say. They
yeah.
had two different vocalists. They had David Lee Roth
David Lee Roth,
And-
Sammy Hagar.
and Sammy Hagar. Yeah,
I'm
my
a
brain
Sammy
was
Hagar guy.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay, interesting.
yeah.
See, I was a Diamond Dave fan because of his solo work. In the future, I'll pull up a Diamond Dave intro to one of his videos because he did a lot of really groundbreaking videos when MTV was new.
No, I believe it, yeah.
Yeah, and there's
I
this
mean,
one scene that I quote in my head, and
Yeah.
it's been like 20 years. So, I'll
So,
get
yeah,
that for
I'm-
next
I
week for the
just-
future.
Sammy Hagar's voice just, I felt fit it better. He had more like a rock voice where he can really like, "Rah!" And
well,
David Lee Roth
I
was
agree.
more like a show tunes guy.
And also, David Lee Roth was a show hog. Like, he
Yes,
wanted to be the
100%.
showman, and he didn't like it when other people upstaged him. And when you have
And it wasn't even,
Yeah.
the name wasn't like David Lee Roth Halen.
No.
So-
And when you have one of the most impressive guitarists of all times as one of the band members, you got to give him some shine
Yes.
time. And so if you ever
100%.
watch live concerts during David Lee Roth Van Halen days, you literally see Eddie Van Halen like holding his guitar up, like doing this rip-ass solo, and David Lee Roth is jumping in front of him. Like, I'm taking all your thunder. It's me. Why are you doing a solo? But that's just
Yeah.
me. I'm just saying that. So back to the story. So now that we've
So-
explained both bands,
Both bands. You guys are good.
Yes.
Kids, ask your mom or dad if you have more questions. They'll know.
Mommy, what does WAP mean? Anyway, back to the story.
Oh yeah, no, don't do that. So on the Twitter of Crosby, he was asked by a fan, so Eddie Van Halen passed away. What's your feelings on that? And he just went, meh.
Meh.
That
Meh.
was it. Like
My personal belief is anybody from the Crosby era, which is late 60s, early 70s, has a lot of disdain for the 80s, meaning that they were the top of the hill. Like the late
Right.
60s, the Jimi Hendrix of the early 70s, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I mean, Zeppelin, Sabbath.
Right.
These are like legends. The 80s
Yep.
came along and new legends came onto the scene.
Yes.
And I personally believe that the old legends are kind of pissy about it. It's my personal belief. That's kind of why that's why I think he did what he did. Meh. It's
I
kind
mean,
of ignorant.
for
but
me, I'm like, you guys are both in like a famous light, and I'm sure you're both in the Music Hall of Fame. I would just be like, even if you didn't like the guy, I would be like, yeah, it's sad because, we both had something in common and he passed away.
Right.
And, I feel sorry for the family.
Right.
Done.
Or
Done.
like,
Yeah.
hey, I was never a big Van Halen fan, but the dude had skills. You know what I mean? Like, you could absolutely positively hate a band. Like,
Right.
Perfect example for me. Just letting you know. I am not a fan of the lead singer of The Cure. And it's caused me problems in my personal life. We're not going to get into that right now. But
It's okay.
not with my current partner.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I get it.
So-
Yeah. He's a weirdo.
Well, it's his voice. His voice really irks me. I'm not even going to say his name. That's how much it irks me.
Oh,
But
I
go
can.
ahead. You say
If
it.
we're gonna do that, I'll tell you a band that I cannot stand because of the lead vocalist.
Okay.
Smashing Pumpkins.
There you go.
I just
that's
can't.
interesting because
I can't.
I actually love his voice. So that's
That's
even
okay.
more hilarious.
Yeah.
So The Cure has this song that has like a 14-minute intro. It's not 14 minutes. It's just really long. I think it's called Destination Street, but I'm not positive. Absolutely love their music. So I always get caught.
Destination
Always.
Street's really cool.
But I always get caught, man. I'm like bopping along. I'm like, this song is
Yeah.
awesome. And then his voice kicks in. By the way, it's Robert.
Yeah.
Smith, but I didn't
Yes.
want to say it, but I did. But yeah.
It's okay.
Anyway, but that's the reason I think he said meh. He's from the old
I
guard.
get it.
And so the new guard dying, meh. Now, here's an interesting question. What do you think he would have said for not Prince, because Prince is part of he's the new breed as well, believe it or not. What do you think he would have said with Bowie? Like, what do you think his response to Bowie would have been?
I think he would have said that he was a groundbreaker and his music touched so many people.
I
Something
agree.
as in
I
to
think
that
he would have
effect.
been polite.
Yeah.
Because personally, that's just a rude and ignorant statement, in my opinion.
Yes, meh.
Like, it's just meh. You might as well just spit.
Topic for next shows: bands that we can't stand lead vocalists, because I have 3 on the top of my head. So
that's hilarious.
We'll do that.
You know. That's hilarious on every level. So, next, we're just going to hop right into it because commercial about to end. Oh, wrong button.
That's okay. I was like, what are you going to ask me? Oh, man.
Nope.
Cool. Nope. That's on my list to talk about, too, so we're good.
So the Lakers win 17th championship. And the
COVID championship.
Must have done something. Yeah, the bubble championship. The reason we have this story on, and let me just freeze it on a frame somewhere in the middle here, is because of
there
this.
You go.
There it is.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Yep. So this is what happened after the game. Besides the fact, that's LA every day of the week. Every frickin' day of the week.
Right.
So for anybody out there that is watching, you can see what's on the screen. If you're listening, it is the post LA Lakers celebration. Do you want to describe what you see on the screen?
Okay. So I remember as a little kid, Lakers winning. And it was like 80-something with Magic Johnson and stuff. And I've never experienced anything where everybody runs into the street and they're just like, I'm going to break stuff because I'm so happy. I'm going to flip over cars because I'm so happy.
They do that when they come in second. They're like, yeah, we got second. Break stuff. Do not go to Philly when they win. Do not go to Philly when they win.
Same here. Don't go anywhere near the Staples Center when the Lakers win. It just, every year that they won, every single time, even with Shaq, like, can you dig it? And someone's flipping over a car or setting something on fire. It's just...
Do you know the statistics? Because I heard the statistics, but I don't remember. I think it's like 4 buildings were damaged, multiple cars,
I don't know.
8 police officers were like shot.
You know what's weird?
Something.
Like, LA doesn't, like, you're like, oh, they have the Kings hockey team. And you're like, hockey's not a big deal in LA. They win, they do this stuff too. They go out on the street and they riot.
It's LA. So
it's LA.
It's funny that you bring up LA teams because I was thinking about this the other day. We have a hockey team, we have a basketball team, we have 2 football teams, and 2 football teams.
You have 2 basketball teams. You have Clippers and Lakers.
Oh, you're right. But Clippers are okay. The Clippers I
Clippers
thought
are
played
getting
somewhere
better.
Else. Yeah, no.
No,
I didn't know that
they're
they played
Staples.
at the Staples Center. Okay, so we have 2 basketball teams. Wow. Okay, 2 basketball teams. Maybe we gotta have 2 of everything. Do we have a baseball team? Dodgers. Yes.
Dodgers.
Okay, so we got we got 1 baseball team, 2 football teams, because we got rid of the Raiders. They went to Oakland, but now they're back. We have the Rams that used to be in multiple places around the country.
No, the Raiders went to Las Vegas.
Okay, so they're
in a place called the Death Star.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's what
I saw that thing. Yeah. I'm an idiot. But at one point we had 2 football teams, which to me was crazy. But we also have.
Wait,
go ahead.
You had 3 because you had Chargers too.
Yeah, but I thought Chargers are San Diego. Not LA.
But they went down to...
they were in LA for a while. I get it now.
Yeah.
LA is like a transient town. So that leads me to the one that I wanted to get to because we have hockey, we have baseball, we have football. We also have soccer. Go ahead.
Yeah, are we counting Anaheim into LA?
No.
Because
they're so close. Because that'll just make it so much worse. Because then you got Angels and the Ducks. You'll have the
Angels, yeah.
Yep. It just goes on and on. For football, though, for soccer, for anybody outside America, it's football. For Americans, it's soccer. Yeah. We have 2 football teams, I found out. We have the LA Galaxy and the LA Football Club, because I've been watching more soccer these days.
Ooh, are we going women's sports?
Oh,
like
damn.
Sparks.
Because we have WNBA too, don't we?
Yes, we
Oh,
have
man.
Sparks, and then we have the LA something female
Yes.
soccer team, whatever that's
football,
called. That
soccer,
they
yeah.
won something big a couple of years ago.
Exactly. Well, the reason that I was bringing up the football teams, two reasons actually. There's a 17-year-old, and I think he's on the Galaxy, but I'm not positive. He's an American, and he's just like blowing people away. He's going to end up in Europe soon, because that's basically what happens is United States is a feeder for other countries. So you get young talent coming up, and then it's a feeder the other way. So we get talent that's going down. And I don't mean any slight to David Beckham, because the dude's an amazing football player. But he didn't come to LA until he was in his 30s, I think. Like, he was like towards the end of his career. And Ivanovic, and I'm saying his name wrong, he's a famous football player too. I think he's from Sweden. I forget exactly where he's from.
I mean, we do the same thing with
teams.
with basketball players too. I mean,
no, not to me. No, okay. I compared the American soccer, MLS, Major League Soccer here in America, to the Italian Basketball League. That's what I compare. I consider them similar because that's where Kobe's dad played. And a lot of A players in America that aren't quite good enough or are past their prime or whatever, they go to Italy. And now I think they also go to China, but Italy's been big for a while.
Right.
But yeah, they feed each other. But yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so back to this story. We don't have a show without not talking about things that we're supposed to not talk about.
Right.
Nobody had any masks on. There is a huge amount of fans, and nobody's wearing masks at all. They considered this to be a super spreader event. And the Mayor Garcetti, tried to shut it down. It didn't work. He tried to shut it down, and this is a small crowd comparatively to some years. Like, if they had been able to come out in force, we probably would have we wouldn't have been able to see any road or sidewalk or parking lot or anything in this picture. But yeah, it's a super spreader because of how many people, nobody wearing any masks. And if California was like 18th or 27th on the list of places that have COVID, I'd be like, oh, no big deal. We're not. We're like number 1 or number 2, maybe even number 3. LA County is so high up there that they give us like daily updates of what's happening. And it's like, it's really bad today. Don't go out. And then I'll look out my window and people are walking around without masks because I guess nobody got the memo.
That's cool.
There's a pandemic.
There is? What's going on?
Apparently there's a pandemic. Apparently I haven't worked for a long time. Apparently.
Yeah, that sucks.
So a bunch of weeks ago, and I mean a bunch of weeks ago.
Was it week 1?
It might. No, it was probably week 2 or week 3 or something. We talked about Summer Glau. It was on the episode where we talked about our favorite shows. Because Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles made my list. And then I said, oh my God, you got to see this funny thing for Summer Glau. We'll show it in the future. And that future is now.
Sweet.
So this...
I can't wait.
Yes. To give everybody a heads up what I am about to show. Give me 1 second, because I had this set up. Okay, perfect. I have it set up good again.
Cool.
Summer Glau is an actress that was in Serenity, and she was also in Sarah Connor Chronicles. She played a Terminator in Sarah Connor Chronicles. Now, she went to, I think this is Dragon Con, but it might be a different convention. And at conventions, you can pay for a VIP pass to get a picture next to that person. So it's like you just stand. Is it this way?
Yep.
Okay. And you just do this all day. Like, you smile. Yep. Next person. Next person.
That's it.
This is a compilation, I think, of 50 images of Summer Glau. I find it hilarious. I can't stop laughing. I'm just going to play it right now, and then we'll talk about it. Have you seen this yet?
I think I saw like the first couple seconds, and then I was like, I'm saving it for the show.
Excellent. It is on the screen, and I will hit the play button.
So I don't think she's human. I don't think she's human at all.
So what we just saw was literally the exact same pose for 50 people. The very last person, she doesn't have a smile for. I mean, it's literally the exact same face over
Do you
and over.
think it's because of like the hand placement?
What do you mean?
Like,
what he did with his hands?
If yeah.
What's weird for me on this is I swear this guy looks like a Terminator, meaning I could have sworn that he was in a show that I watch as a Terminator. Like, I think that dude is actually an actor.
They do have the creepy robot eyes, both of them.
Yeah. And so I thought two things on this. I went both ways. I like your answer, by the way, is that he's doing something funky with his hands.
His hands are like on her butt or something like that.
But if you watch these other people, some of these people are getting super handsy. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it. Like, there are people like literally like leaning on her. Like, are you nuts?
And then she's like, 3 seconds, take a picture.
Yeah, go. Next.
Yep.
Next. It's crazy. I think she has a crush on this guy. That was my takeaway. She was like, whoa. Because this is one of the few guys that like towers above her. Like, if you, there's one or two other guys, but like,
but I mean, like, look at all those. Like, this is the first guy that actually looks like he might have seen a gym in the past year too.
Dude's buff.
Yeah.
And I swear that guy's an actor. I swear he is. So I think this might be a setup, but that's just my favorite. The face that she makes every single time.
She's one of those lizard people, or something like that. People. Yeah, she's
definitely.
She's not
something
human.
wrong with her. Something.
She might be a Terminator.
She might.
You know what I didn't understand in that show? So
you have Chronicles. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you have John Connor.
Yes.
That is roughly the same age as her. Why didn't he make any moves on the robot? I mean, I would have.
Well, when your mom warns you that you're going to be killed by a robot, I don't think you're like trying to make huggy kissy with one. I'm just saying.
But I mean, like, looking at a robot,
right?
And it looks like she's that.
Yeah, she's hot.
I would have been like.
Well, you see, for me, two things would have turned me off. First, she takes like 8 bullets. Anybody that's taking 8 bullets, well, they're taking 8 bullets for me, so maybe that's a turn on. I can go both ways on that. But then she like rips somebody's arm off or something. Like, that would creep me out. Like, hey, what's going on? Snap. By arm.
I don't know. I'd just be like, check out my girlfriend. Yeah, check out my girlfriend. Look what she can do. Like, yeah. Let's go put you in like arm wrestling competitions and let's win some money.
Yeah. We need cash. The underground arm wrestling ring. I hear that's where the real money's at.
And she's this scrawny girl that's like ripping off arms and.
No, I'd be throwing her in the MMA. Like,
Sylvester Stallone would have nothing on her. He would like
nothing at
put
all.
His hat backwards, and she would still rip off the arm. Yeah.
Time to get serious.
I did that too as a kid. I loved. What was that movie? Was it called Over the Top?
Over the Top.
With Sylvester.
That's absolutely it. Yep, absolutely.
Every single time I had my hat forward and I needed to concentrate or do something, like hit a baseball farther, I'd flip it around.
And then immediately your IQ went up like 10 points.
Oh,
or
yeah,
at least
100%.
Your concentration went up at least 50%.
Because that's what happened.
The band? You think it's the band and the
Maybe.
presses?
I mean, it could be. I feel smarter when I drink smart water too. But
that's real, I think. We've talked about smart water, I think. I like smart water.
I do too.
Smart water. Okay, so for anybody out there that's never read the smart water bottle, it reads weird. I mean, it really
does.
Like, the ingredients read really weird.
And there's a fish in the bottle too.
Say again?
Yeah. There's a fish in the bottle too.
Yeah. Well, they also have flavored ones now too. Have you seen those?
Yes, I have.
My partner is in love with those. She's had all of them, and they're like, which one's better? I like all of them. They're all great.
I mean, I think that was the first time that I actually saw a water bottle where I'm like, why is there a goldfish in it? Oh, because they put the label on the back of it.
It's genius. It's genius. So give me uno momento. We might hear sound for a second. Yep. Okay. I was trying to cue
that's a PlayStation sound, right?
It is.
PlayStation.
PlayStation. So for anybody out there that's wondering what I'm talking about by reading the ingredients on the water bottle, it's reverse osmosis,
Yes.
something water. And basically that's a glorified way of saying it's distilled water, which we've talked about in a previous show. Don't drink distilled water, ever.
Right.
Now, what they do to the smart water is once they distill it and they turn it into pure, like no anything in it water, they then pour minerals back into it through some other process. So when you read the actual ingredients, it's like reverse inverted osmosis something, and then we've added minerals this way, and these are the minerals we've added. And from what I hear, it's great for cancer patients. Like, it's highly recommended because of all the minerals that are in it. It's not like regular spring water. And didn't we talk about the water sommelier? I'm not going to get into any of that now. But yeah,
I think so.
Smart water's the bomb. I would drink that all the time, especially over this, any day of the week. We are going... Oh, do you have something you want to talk about before we jump into video games? Is there anything that you wanted to... I mean, we can jump... Oh, I know what we should probably talk about before video games, because we'll get off on that forever.
Yes.
Apple event, Prime Day, Walmart, and they're all going to be done by the time this comes out. If you're seeing this, you've missed it all.
You missed it all. You totally missed it by like a couple weeks. Like,
you're way off.
You better get on that. Like,
yeah. You better get in your time machine. Get that DeLorean out.
Right. Find a phone booth and just start typing in numbers, okay?
Speaking of which, I love Bill and Ted.
I do too.
I finally saw the new movie, but that'll be in the future.
Oh, you did?
We're not talking about that today. Yeah.
Okay, cool, because I'll watch it and then we can talk about it.
Cool,
so,
that's perfect. Yeah. I got heavily mocked, by the way. It'll be a good talk. So today, there was an Apple event for the new iPhone. Is it 12? Yeah, iPhone 12?
Yeah, 37, something like that, yeah.
12, 14, 39. Hut. Pass it to one of the 3 football teams in LA.
Right. Yes.
Oh, and for anybody that knows, Apple is not anywhere near LA. Apple is actually much closer to San Francisco, but it's actually an hour-ish, hour and a half away from San Francisco. It's actually really close to San Jose, or it's in San Jose, depending on how you want to look at it, in Silicon Valley. So the Big Apple event, they released their new iPhone. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Did they release anything else? Oh, yeah. Home.
They released something that works with Siri.
Yeah. It's basically Alexa for Apple.
Yeah.
It's the same product. I don't see a lot of difference. It's the Google one, but I don't remember the Google's name because it's not as fancy. I mean, Alexa, there's something about that name. I mean, Siri is cool too, don't get me wrong. And I have a Siri story. Damn it, I hate having this many stories. We're going to talk about a Siri story for 2 seconds. So you know what Siri is, right? It's a joke. You have to know what Siri is. Oh, you glitched. No. His router's gone crazy. I was like, dang nabbit, that's really good. You did a good job. So, I'm just going to put this in here. I glitched 3 times today. So, Professor has at least 2 more times before he catches up to me. This is his router resetting. This happens at his house. My Raspberry Pi overheats. Welcome to technology. He'll be back in a second. And I'll ask him about Siri. Because I have a Siri story. And I'll slip it in real quick before he comes back. I have a friend named Siri. But she had her name before Siri came out. That's the story. But I'll tell him when he comes back. He's on his way. Gonna check my phone to see if he's sending me a message like, uh-oh. Oh, no!
Good.
Hey, you're back. I was just having a conversation with myself. It was hilarious. So I'm going to tell you a story that I've already actually told you, but you weren't here. So in the
look
future,
on my face must have been like priceless. You were like, what?
Yeah.
Why is he just staring at me like that?
Well, at first I'm like, wow, this is kind of a boring story, I guess. And then I'm like, oh, he glitched. And then I told the studio audience how you have to glitch at least 2 more times to catch up with me today. So
Right?
you got plenty of glitching to go. My guess is router went out again. Wait, he glitched again? No! That is hilarious times 2. So when he edits this show, hi, Professor. You can edit this out. You've got 2 more times, buddy. So, wait, maybe 1 more time now. Because I glitched 3. You've glitched twice. That's advanced math. I don't think I can do that. So, time to pull up the call manager again and see if he's coming back. Open call manager. Gonna check my phone again. Oh no! That was classic, Professor. That was classic.
God.
Oh, you're back. That was hilarious, by the way. So you have 1 more.
Guess what I did?
I did advanced math. What did you do?
Everybody's on 5G, so when I
Right.
come on here, I take my 2G because no one ever gets on it.
Right.
I switched over to 5G because everybody's asleep. So
Oh, I
one
get it.
person's
I get it.
streaming. I wonder if one of my kids aren't asleep and they're
Right.
actually playing like Fortnite or something.
Right, exactly. That's hilarious.
'Cause I don't
and
know.
Probably very true.
Right?
So
They're being sweaty.
it was hilarious because what I said was, you know who Siri is, right? And then you glitched. And I'm like, okay, I know. Everybody knows what Siri is. I'm sorry, man. I apologize. And then I'm like, wait, he glitched. Oh, thank God.
I really did. Yeah. Oh,
So
man.
anyway, you know what Siri is, obviously.
I do.
Correct? Yes. You have an iPhone.
Yeah.
So you use Siri probably often, or at least once in your lifetime. A really good friend of mine, her name is actually Siri. Before Siri became Siri, I had convinced her to switch to that name. Because you know how you have a first name, a middle name, and a last name?
Yes.
Well, she was going by her first name. And I said, rebrand yourself. Go by your middle name. It's so freaking cool. And just go by Siri. Because everybody knew her as Siri. Everybody still knows her as Siri. Speaking of which, Siri tattoos. We're going to have to figure out a way to put a promo up for her. And then Siri came along. And everybody was going, Siri this, Siri that, Siri this, Siri that. So she actually switched back to her full name, which is Siri Mantra. Or Siri Mantra. Because everybody was saying her name constantly. Could you imagine, like, the newest thing was Rich or, oh, damn. If the newest thing was Tick or the Professor, damn it. And everybody was going, Tick, 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 Tick. You'd constantly be like, yo, what's up?
Right.
What's up? What's going on? So it's bad enough when I'm on a job and everybody else has my name. I've been on a couple of job sites with 3 other people with the same name as mine. We just started all going by last names. It was just easier.
I would too. Yeah.
So that's my that's Apple, Prime Day, and Walmart. Have you heard about them?
Oh, I partaked in Prime Day today. And I will give
reveal.
you
I've been waiting.
3 guesses on what I bought.
I get 3 guesses? Okay.
But I'm going to give you tons of hints.
Oh, there you go.
You can plug it in. It has wheels, and it's going to be useful in the winter.
I am going to go with snowmobile.
Close. It's a snow blower. Because I'm sick of shoveling my driveway. I just don't like it.
I get it. Now, I have a lot of experience with snow blowers because my dad went through quite a few. My dad right there.
Yep.
And our driveway, which was huge. Be very, very, very careful when it gets to the in-between state. When it's snow and it's fluffy, no problem.
Right.
But when it starts to change, do not use your snowblower. Because what happens is it starts to shoot snow out, and then it starts to get the ice. And the ice gets around the auger, which is the thing that spins and throws the snow. Yeah. And it goes and just snaps in half. So be very careful about ice. My dad scared me several times with large, like, machinery. One of the times was I walked out and he had his hand basically up inside a snowblower trying to, like, chip out the ice. My head was just like...
Was it plugged in?
No, it wasn't running. It wasn't running, but no. When you Look at your auger when you get it.
Okay.
That thing is super. It is every horror movie you've ever seen. And my
I
thing is
bet.
this. When he chipped out the ice, what I was afraid of happening was that
He was
was
going to
under
hit a
tension.
blade. Yeah.
No. It's under tension. So he chips the ice and then it spins with his hand there. That's what I was worried
Nope,
about.
not doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, when you have snow, snow blowers work great. When you have sleet, ice, freezing rain, and all that other crap, just leave it in the house.
Yeah.
Just telling you.
I also bought a whole bunch of like snow melt stuff that's safe for pets.
Yes.
So
yes.
That's what I'm going to throw down on my driveway when that happens. I'll be like,
absolutely.
Nope, done. Just throwing this down.
My dad, when it would snow, my dad would go out 2, 3, 4, 5 times during the snow to keep it from getting too high because it gets super heavy. Anybody that's ever shoveled snow, once it gets over about 6 inches, man, it's a job.
It sucks.
And he would salt the entire walkway and the steps. And just he would keep everything salted and ready to rock and roll. It was like a full-time job. That's awesome, dude. I was not expecting
it was like $255, and so for Prime Day it dropped down to $195. No, $125. It was $125.
That's an amazing price.
So I was like,
from wow.
Yeah.
To super wow.
There was like, there's 5 left, and I'm like, I don't have time to think about this. I'm doing it.
Yep. Done.
So
making it happen.
Yeah. And
so Prime Day for me, I haven't gotten anything. And same with Walmart, but I will tell people there's a 55-inch Roku that's like $250.
Yes. I know. It's awesome. TVs are really cheap now.
And
what?
Sorry. It's technical glitch day. Okay, let's hope this works.
Okay.
No, when we were doing the rec show, I think it might have been because of her audio, but my audio for like the last half hour, I could barely hear you guys. I heard like 3 words because stuff in my system was glitching out.
That sucks.
So it is what it is. We'll make it through the rest of the show. We only have another 20, 30 hours.
Okay, I got you. I got you covered with this one then. Let's go to TikToks because there's some feel good stuff in there, and that will change the mood of everything.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Which one do you want me to go to? Jeez, look at the names.
You like how I named them? Yeah. Let's do the feel good
just so
one.
People in the audience understand, I'm reading off the list. We both glitched. Oh, okay. We both glitched.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. So here's the names for the videos that are coming up: Death Sentence, Ninja Skills, Halloween Distance, Feel Good of the Week.
Yeah. This glitchy stuff is so glitchy. I might have to change my whole system again. There we go. Let's see if I can see you and hear you.
Let's
Can you see and hear me?
I totally can. And I was just reading the names, and So let's do Feel Good of the Week.
I can't actually. This is hilarious.
You can't?
Yeah, this is hilarious. I can't because I got to reset everything. Give me a second. I got to reset my iPad now because it's deciding to glitch. And the only thing I can think of to fix it is to send it to offland. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for Death Sentence. Is that the first one you want to start with?
No.
Okay. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Ninja Skills.
Okay. We can do
Ninja Skills, is it? Yes.
Yeah, we can do
it.
It
only took me 2. So everybody in the studio audience, I can't hear him right now.
Oh man,
it's one of those things.
So
because I can't hear him, I also can't hear what we're about to watch. So I'm going to cue this up, and Professor, watch your ears because you know how this stuff goes. I always press the button and then it gets super loud. Holy moly! Okay, I don't need to hear this. I'm going to turn the audio off. Oh my heavens! Okay, I'm not showing it to you. I know. Give me 1 second. Holy mackerel!
Holy mac!
There we go.
Look at this dude and his ninja skills. What we're watching is a dude with ninja freaking skills. And when I say freaking, I mean freaking.
So, for everybody listening to the podcast instead of watching it, first, come to
we'll just let him
YouTube.
Do it.
Check it out. Secondly, it is a guy who is doing nunchucks. I have a funny story about nunchucks. Okay. And there we go. No flipping way. Oh my heavens. What? What?
He is,
I can hear you now.
Okay,
What?
cool. Yeah, this dude, I never want to like.
Well, I will be honest with you. A friend of mine from high school was that good. Seriously,
oh my
no
gosh.
lie. He was. This is 2x speed, by the way. That is not real time. Just letting everybody know that's watching this.
Yes, 100%.
Because we know TikTok good enough to know that is not. He's recording at 2 times the speed.
Oh, of course.
And I will tell you. Well, no. I had a friend from high school that was almost this fast at 1x speed. No lie.
Wow.
And this one move that he does, let me see if I can stop it right on the move, because there's something we got to discuss. This is hilarious. Okay, almost. One more, it's coming.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's almost
that neck wrap.
The neck move. Yeah.
Okay. I have a funny story about that. Friend of mine that was really good with nunchucks, like amazing with nunchucks, bought a set of practice nunchucks. For anybody that doesn't know what nunchucks are, geez, we should tell them that. It is a martial arts weapon where it's 2 pieces of wood and it's linked together by either rope or chain or something like that. And Bruce Lee made them super famous. I used to own Game of Death Bruce Lee nunchucks. Got them from Asian World of Martial Arts when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I love those things. So anyway, back to the story. Friend of mine got practice nunchucks, right? He could do some amazing stuff, right? And he learned this neck wrap doing it with practice nunchucks. Then he switched back to regular nunchucks. And he did the same move and knocked himself out. Like straight
I believe
out.
it. I believe
it. When I saw that move, that's exactly what I thought of. I was like, oh man, I remember when my friend almost killed himself on that move. Oh, that's so funny. Sorry, that guy was amazing. Okay.
He was totally amazing.
Yeah. Let's
just
ninja skill.
Yeah.
Halloween distance.
Yeah.
Which one are we doing?
Let's go death sentence.
Death sentence.
But this one has audio that is not copyrighted because it's a news broadcast.
Oh.
So, yeah, we're going to be, we need to hear this.
Criticism that lethal injection is cruel and outdated. Facing mounting criticism that lethal injection is cruel and outdated, Ohio has replaced it with a system that quickly and humanely rips off the heads of death row inmates using powerful robotic arms. The new device is designed to be as humane as possible, emitting soothing white noise and putting prisoners on a cushioned seat before its metallic talons dig into their necks and painlessly wrench their heads off. Arrest, while this new method of quickly crushing the detached head ensures a mercifully swift conclusion. The machine also handles the prisoner's remains with dignity. And Ohio isn't the only state changing the way it handles capital punishment. Last month, Texas unveiled the Machinator, which humanely squishes up to 50 prisoners at once. And in Louisiana, death row prisoners can choose to become organ donors and have their guts sucked out through an industrial tube. Facing mounting criticism that...
No, not real. Not real. Not buying it. Had me for about 7 seconds. 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Can't believe it had me for 7 seconds. I feel like Data. I thought about it for 0.6 of a microsecond. No, not real. Fake.
100% it's fake. Oh my gosh. That showed up on my For You page and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hilarious.
That is hilarious. Whoever did it did an excellent job. The graphics are pretty amazing. The way that the head gets popped off and then they hit it with a big giant hammer.
You know, if I committed a crime that was that bad, like I'm going to request that. I'm just going to be like, I want to do this. I want to do this. This is what I'm going to do.
You just said that, and what I thought of was the stupid scandal with the parents paying off the different colleges. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
I think her name's Lori Loughlin. I always get her name wrong.
Something like that.
But she was on Full House. And her husband Giamatti. I own his clothes. He's like a famous fashion designer, and he does a lot of stuff for different places. I think I got mine at Target. Again, not sponsored, but Target. Call us.
No.
The reason I bring that up is they literally got to request where they were going to stay. The judge is like, okay, you guys are convicted. Would you like to go to this place, or this place? How do you get to choose
whatever one's in the Bahamas? That's where I want to go.
What's that about? But that makes me think about what you were saying. Like, if I ever commit a crime so heinous, I would love to choose how they kill me.
Yeah, I mean, I just want my last meal to have like 4 edibles in it, and then I'm good. So
you get super paranoid, and then they kill you. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. Oh, they did. I know me being paranoid.
I'm watching myself until my head gets bashed, so we're good.
I'm actually outside my body right now. I'm so destroyed.
Right. Wow, I should have exercised.
I am looking pudgy. Oh, that's so bad and so funny. Halloween distance? Is that next?
Yes, let's do that.
Oh, I can't wait for Feel Good of the Week. These were the...
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so we can use the audio, yes? It seems like...
I don't know.
We'll try.
Probably.
Okay, let's...
Yeah.
Okay. Candy and beer.
Oh.
I like it already.
Yeah, yes, we can use the audio.
Hell yes.
Right.
That's my answer. Hell yes. Everyone needs this. That is too cool. The way that the ghost comes out.
Too.
That is too cool. It's
Candy and beer.
Now, but I could probably watch this more.
Right.
I'm not trying to be
for
rude
kids,
or nothing, but beer could be better.
Yeah. I mean, for kids, and if anybody's scared of catching COVID with
absolutely.
With
so
Halloween,
what we just watched, everybody, is
Yeah.
a guy who created a zip line that took the candy and 2 beers out to the curb so that the parents get something and the kids get something.
Yes.
It's genius. Genius, I say.
Yep. The only thing I would have changed is I would have those be Coronas.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
That would be it.
Oh, you know what? Perfect segue. I cannot disconnect. I can. Give me a second. I'm going to disconnect.
Oh. I bet you he's getting Corona seltzer waters things because.
We can never go live ever.
Well, I mean, we are on the 27th.
After all my shenanigans.
It's okay. We are on the 27th.
We are going to be live. Well, we can't
Corona
stop it. I'll just walk away and get something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just let the video roll. That's why we get extra people. And yes, this is a follow-up to our seltzer story. Because last time, very first show, we talked about the Bud Light ones.
Bud Light,
They were horrible. Like, they were bad. Then, when I was at the store, I saw this other seltzer, and it is Golden Road. Now, everybody drinks the other one. What's that one?
White Claw.
That's it. Everybody drinks that one.
Yeah.
I didn't want to try that one. Everybody drinks it. Why would I drink that? You know what I mean?
It's crappy. It's really crappy.
Well, what's funny is I got these, and I will tell you, there's 4 altogether. Mango, cucumber lime, and then the 2 other ones are watermelon. Oh, and I can't remember the 4th one. But the reason I remembered watermelon is because it's good, and so is the mango. So the mango is here, the watermelon is here. Like, watermelon isn't as good as mango, but mango isn't so far ahead of watermelon that I can be like 1, 2, 3. I have to be like 1, 1.5. Then drop down to 4. And lime, and I think it's pineapple something. They're competing for the bottom. It's almost like it's a different product. And I figured out what these are. It took me a while because I was drinking them. Now, do you like Sour Patch Kids? Like, are you a fan? Okay.
Yeah.
I think you'd like these then, because especially the watermelon, the mango close, but the watermelon, it literally tastes like you threw in Sour Patch Kid. You get the sour taste.
That's
and
awesome.
it went click. I figured out what these are. In Southern California, we have 1 million microbreweries, maybe 2 million.
Yes.
And they all make IPA, all of them. I'm not a huge IPA fan, by the way.
Neither am I.
And these IPAs, they started making sour beer. Have you ever had a sour beer?
No.
Okay. It's weird. It's literally sour. Yeah. It's an IPA that's sour. Or at least I think it's an IPA. It's really weird. That's what this is. It's a sour beer with flavoring. And so it's got like that sweet and sour thing that you get with a Sour Patch Kid. And then you get like tones of mango. And the mango, I think, is by far the best. And the lime, crap. Why can't they ever make a good lime? The lime one's always crap. Is it because like you put a lime in regular beer and it's amazing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Corona is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, Corona, yeah. There's like a longboard, something like that too. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've had my favorite beer, totally girly. It couldn't get any more girly.
It's okay.
It's Bud Light with lime, I think. Oh, no.
Yes.
Coors. Lime Coors.
Coors? I've had that. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah.
And the reason it's so girly, it's in 10 ounces. Anytime you put a beer in 10 ounce, you should literally just give them a tutu or skirt in the box because you should immediately put that on. It should just be like you put the tutu on and start drinking these like Bud Lime. And I can't find, not Bud Lime, Coors Lime. They don't make it anymore, by the way. Or if they do, they don't bring it here to my part of the country.
It's okay. I get girly with beers too. So I like Shock Top, and the one that I like is the one that says raspberry. Raspberry Shock Top.
If
Those
you
are
like that
so
one,
freaking good.
Have you ever had a Frambois? It's super expensive.
I don't think so.
Okay. The bottle is a 22, I think, and it's like $12, $15 for a 22. And then they have like a 40 some, and it's, I think, $20. It's one of the most expensive beers I've ever had. From Brawl, I forget. Did we do the Feel Good Show one yet?
No, but it's a good segment for beer, so we're good. Do the feel good. Yeah.
Sounds good. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick.
We could play the audio, I think.
Oh, good. I'm going to show this beer to you real quick, though. Before... I'm trying to figure out the shortcut keys so that I can make stuff big before I press the button.
Yep.
This is the beer I was talking about.
Yeah, no, I've never had one.
If you like fruity beers, this is the best fruity beer of all time. And this is an amazing beer as well. I think you should totally grab that sometime. Or I'll grab it for you if I can afford it. Feel good.
Yeah, you might need a clip audio and just be like mute, but I think we can listen to it.
I think you should do a feel good promo of the week above this. Which button should I use? Let's go with this one. Just gonna.
Awesome.
So there, you can just cut that away and then hopefully throw in feel good of the week or something like that.
Yeah.
Or nothing at all. I don't care.
Tell me how's it. Nope, you can't
gone.
play that up.
Yep, I got the audio gone. The audio is
I won't even sing it for you.
Okay, so now...
But we can watch it.
Yes. And I need to coordinate this.
Yep, and this is
and
totally
it is
the
playing
one.
On the screen.
So, yep, you got to watch it.
Yes. We will describe it to you guys.
So it looks like...
Go ahead.
It looks like it's a dad that made some poor decisions and is drinking way too much and is probably an alcoholic. And then it transitions to him having kids, and his daughter looks like she's in the corner crying, and looks like he changed his life for the better.
Yes, and it happens to be Coors Light boxes, funny enough.
Yes.
And we just got done talking about Coors. And no, we don't script this. We couldn't script this. It's pure randomness. Our show is pure random. The fact that we even have a show is hilarious.
Right.
That is an amazing TikTok, and I feel better as well.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Okay, so what guess do you have for the whiskey? because that was clearly a whiskey bottle, but it looked flavored.
Oh, I thought it was.
It is. Do you know which
Jameson?
one? Nope,
Or is
Jim Beam.
it Jim Beam?
You can tell by
vanilla.
the label. I think vanilla. It doesn't look like regular Jim Beam because regular Jim Beam has a fully black label.
Right.
And Jim Beam's been doing tons of flavored whiskeys.
Yeah, and I'm not big with Jim Beam.
No, I've always been a Jack Daniel's fan. So if I'm going to be drinking like Kentucky sipping whiskey, definitely Jim Beam. And I love barrel aged, old school like Macallan's and stuff, like expensive whiskeys. Yeah. But if you're going to give me like I like whiskey and Coke if I'm going to drink it.
Yeah, I do too.
And not Jim Beam.
No.
And definitely not. Remember how we were talking about the SCA? Probably about 2 years. It was with Shield Maiden, actually. When I was in the SCA, it was like a drive to the bottom. Almost everybody drank very inexpensive whiskeys.
Yeah.
And each person had their own tolerances for their cheap whiskey. So you would go to someone else's party, and they would give you their cheap whiskey, and your body couldn't handle it. But when you went to your place and drank your cheap whiskey, you were fine. I just always found it hilarious because it's just all cheap whiskey.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know when I would go out to when there was a time without COVID, and we would actually go and like have a drink somewhere. I would have to say Jack and Coke. Like I would just
You don't say whiskey and Coke.
No.
Okay.
Uh-oh. You went black.
Oh my God, are you serious? It's like everything is breaking today. And can you guess what happened? It's the exact same thing that happened earlier. But now it's
doing it with your GoPro?
GoPro. Wait for it. You can't see it. I can't take a picture.
Your GoPro doesn't go anymore.
Correct. But it will in a second. But it's funny on every level. This is just funny on every level. Today's show is hilarious for technical glitches. If it wasn't for technical glitches, we wouldn't have any glitches at all.
And right? You know what? You know what I should do? I should be like,
take all the glitches.
This is the drinking show. Every single time there's a technical glitch, take a drink.
Yes. He will be hammered by the end of this show. So this cable right here is the power cable. And I thought it was plugged in because I've left it plugged in for a long, long time. Yeah. Well, clearly it wasn't. Just like I forgot to plug in the laptop.
You know?
I love this show. So horribly produced.
The next show I'll be like, hey, everything's working. Is it plugged in, Tick? Everything's plugged in, right?
Have you plugged anything in?
Right.
I will be testing my Raspberry Pi as well with Pi Zero. But cool. As I showed you earlier, let me pull it out again real quick. Whoop.
This is a kid show, so
don't swear. Whoop.
No, don't pull out something that.
Don't whip anything out.
Yeah, no.
So this right here, the tape, is because there's a little clip inside that you press down to hold this in place. I've broken almost all of them. I own like 3 or 4 of these, and it's super delicate, and I've got hands, and so like I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, man.
So this, when it's hooked up to the camera, has never glitched, ever. And the Raspberry Pi 4 has, because like I told you before, it was never really designed to be used the way I'm using it. So, next on the hit parade, PS5. Is that cool?
Sure. Yes.
So we're not going to watch all of this. And I've turned the audio off. For everybody in the studio audience, PlayStation 5 it's on pre-order. It's coming out soon. It hasn't hit the streets yet, has it? I don't think so.
No.
You don't, you're not a PlayStation person, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't hit the street. What we're watching on the screen is the top Sony engineer doing a teardown of the actual PlayStation 5. I thought this was an incredible video because very rarely will a company show you the insides. In fact, they do the opposite most of the time. They like try to take videos like this down. Like I remember when Xbox came out, people were like, "Oh, you can't show that."
But see, Xbox had an old guy that when Xbox One came out, I forget his name, but he was like, "Oh, this is going to be for everybody who doesn't have cable. This is a streaming device," and it's like, what the hell's going on? Like, no.
Well, it's funny that you should say that because you know the number one use for Xbox Ones, like the original Xbox,
yeah,
as a emulator, game simulator, and media player because of XBMC.
XBMC, yeah,
bingo. And XBMC, believe it or not, is on the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
For anybody in the audience, XBMC is a media player, so you can play streaming music, streaming videos direct. I'm trying to think what else, pictures. It's a media player, and it started on Xbox. So in the background, he's doing the teardown, and I'm going to jump ahead until almost everything is out, and then I'm going to tell you a couple of the things that I found super interesting because I watched a bunch of the other people telling you what he was actually doing, meaning like he shows you all the parts. But then you watch like Linus Tech Tips or somebody like that, and they're like, oh, well, that's this. This thing has all the hardware of a super high-end PC. Like 100%. It's got a Radeon something, Vega graphics card or something. It's got a high-end CPU. The thing that's super interesting, though, is the big fan right there. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes, that is a really big fan, yeah. Yep.
Yes. The reason that this Xbox, and I think he did this teardown, was to make sure that people that bought the PS4, like us, knew that a lot of the things that we complain about were taken care of. PlayStations, when you turn them on, helicopters who just fly over your house. I mean, it's nasty loud. And there's the heat sink to go with that big giant fan. So they say that this is a super quiet machine. And then last but certainly not least, that right there that he's holding in his hand, that is the Blu-ray player. They've put the Blu-ray player in a housing so that it doesn't vibrate around like crazy and make all kinds of crazy sounds and stuff. I was blown away by this teardown. I just couldn't believe, that they did it, because honestly, there it is, all laid out. I couldn't believe they did that. And then B, look at the simplicity. It's a single board, and that's it. I mean, everything else is just a fan or...
Yeah, have you seen the new Xbox? It's a brick.
Yes.
It literally is a tower. It's a brick.
And it's black. So one of the unique features about this, let me go back to the first picture, because it's not unique when it's completely torn down, is that it's got this crazy shape. The PlayStation has a crazy shape. So if you want to turn that on the side, do you know what you have to do?
You have to have that little kickstand on the bottom thing.
Yep. You have to like Allen wrench that off and then put it in another spot. Otherwise it won't lay flat. And it was funny because the Xbox people were like, wait, you want to see what ours is really complicated from horizontal to vertical.
Yep. You just do it.
Yep. You just do it.
Because the fan's on the top. Yeah.
Yep. And it'll work either way.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of PlayStation here. Just because we own a lot of PlayStations. I had gotten rid of my Xbox. I had an Xbox, just the regular one, just Xbox One. Got rid of it, not Xbox One, the original Xbox.
The first Xbox? Yeah.
Now, what do you think of the new Xbox naming? Or should I say
so there's a Xbox Series X that is not the new Xbox. Yes. But the Xbox X is the new Xbox. But see, this is what gets me. I'm a big Phil Spencer's fan. Like when he stepped up in the middle of like all the Xbox One stuff where Xbox One was tanking. He went and he bought game studios, and then that's where Xbox, Microsoft Studios for game making like came about.
Got it.
Yeah,
Makes
because
sense.
before it was like, so
they had nothing. They had Halo.
You have Halo, yeah.
That was it.
And that's
and Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
But that was a Microsoft product, not an Xbox product. No, I get
and then
it. They didn't have anything.
They fired their old CEO because he was like, we're going to go towards streaming. Yeah, right. And then they hired Phil Spencer, and Phil Spencer went and bought a whole bunch of like makers, and recently, within the past 3 weeks, he bought Bethesda. If you know who Bethesda is,
I did not know that he bought Bethesda.
They are Elder Scrolls. They're Doom. They're my favorite game, Fallout 4. They're everything. Wolfenstein.
Yep. They own a lot of really big franchises. The very first-person shooter is Wolfenstein. The most respected first-person shooter is probably Quake.
Doom.
Well, Doom and then Quake. I mean, the follow-up to Doom.
They got all that.
Quake,
all that's a branch of ZeniMax or something that owns Bethesda. So they just basically went, what's the biggest name? We're gonna buy you, and now you're exclusive, and
that's it.
That's it.
Have a nice day. No, I get it. It's okay. So for anybody that's not into video gaming, I highly recommend watching or reading Console Wars. If you're into reading, Console Wars is thick. It is like nitty gritty in the dirt. Whereas I haven't watched the full video yet, but it's not nearly as in the dirt. And what the movie book are about, Sega versus Nintendo. And there's some very interesting PlayStation stuff in there. So when
I bet. Yeah.
When Sega gets towards the end, they partner with PlayStation to do a drive. And PlayStation, that's where they came from. Like they weren't around during Sega and Nintendo days. And they were making things for other companies like Philips, which had the 3DO, and then they were doing stuff for Sega, and they were doing stuff for other people. Now, I could be wrong because I get some of my history incorrect.
No, but then one day, sounds pretty good.
Yeah, one day Sony woke up and was like, well,
we
if
need a
we're
console.
making 80% of what these other companies are using, why don't we just finish the last 20%? And they figured out the secret, which is games. Like PlayStation 1, and then the follow-up, PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 probably has more games than 2 or 3 other systems combined. Because everybody made a game for that stupid PlayStation 2. Everybody did. And they've always been fairly... Well, first of all, Sony's a jerk company. Not to be mean to Sony, but they do things very mean. Meaning...
especially with Marvel characters.
So true. So true. No Spider-Man for you. They, when it comes to systems, though, and I'm talking... Because Sony's huge. In fact, the camera we were using earlier uses a Sony sensor. So Sony makes cameras. In fact, they're number one in cameras right now. Between the A7 III and the A7 IIIC and the A7 IIIS, they own the full frame camera market. Own it. Like, other people have stuff, but Sony's the leader. Then Sony has everything else under the sun. And gaming systems is huge for them as well. It's funny because they have cell phones, but nobody buys them. Marquez Brown? MKB HD. Oh, I hate when I can't remember his name. Anyway, he just did a big thing about Sony's camera. Like, their cell phone camera has, like, cinema grading software in it. Like, if you're a filmmaker and you buy the phone, you're like, oh, wow, this is the exact same controls as my $60,000 camera I have. So Sony does crazy stuff, but they also, like, hamstring certain stuff. And when it comes to PlayStation early on, they did that. So when Blu-rays came out, Sony was like, you can use our Blu-ray, or you're out of luck, because we're only game in town. And everybody had to adopt their standard, because the other standard at the time was HD DVD or something. It was basically a competing standard.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sony just buried them. And the way that they
Yeah,
buried them
100%.
was that they put a Blu-ray player in every PlayStation. And the other guys couldn't win because they didn't have like Xbox behind them or anything like that. And like I said, nobody's heard of that other format.
My Xbox plays Blu-rays. So
now it does. And they have to license the technology from Sony.
Yes. Well, actually, my Xbox One could play Sony video games because it has a USB port. So I can just put the PlayStation on top and then run it through my Xbox.
Now, are you capturing it? You're not really using the hardware inside the Xbox, though, are you?
No, it's
just like my capture card.
Right. It's just running it through the USB drive on the side and then through the power port, and then that's it.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, okay, sorry about that. Is it emulating a PlayStation, or is it just?
No, I can really put a PlayStation on top and plug it in, and
Right. Well, that's the same as this capture card. Yeah. So basically, what you're doing is this. Whoop. And we now have PlayStation on Xbox. That's what I was saying. But that's pretty
exactly
cool.
What I'm
that's
doing.
Still a cool feature. Especially if you're streaming via Xbox. Because that leads me to Stadia. Have you heard of Stadia?
Nope.
Okay, so there's new streaming game services. You don't buy the game. Well, you can buy the games. But what it is you don't need a console. You need a browser or an app on your phone and a controller, and then you can play a wide variety of games in the cloud. So Stadia is Google's version of that. And I recently did the trial of it. I absolutely hate it. I can't stand it. And the reason I can't stand it is because I like old school games, and new school games are I think I'm too old, and I think they're too complicated. And then B, they annoy me. And let me explain. The game mechanics annoy me.
Okay.
So I was playing, it might have been Uncharted or Destiny. I don't know. I was running along and I had to pick something up. So you hit a button. It didn't pick it up. I'm like, what's going on?
Did you have to look at it too? Like actually get your crosshairs on it?
It's a good guess. What it was is that you have to press and hold. And it wasn't until about the third press I started to see a thing on the screen going like that. And then I was like, okay, press and hold. And then you pick it up. Yes, I hated it. Hated it.
I would be done with that whole game.
Right. What made me even more annoyed, though, was they used this game mechanic to set up the game. So, like, go to the next screen. Instead of just hitting the X, you had to press and hold, right?
Yeah.
They had 3 of those in a row. So you're like, press and hold. Press and hold. Press and hold.
Nope.
And then guess what they had for the 4th one? Any guesses?
It is now time to play Stump the Professor
or just a question that Tick's asking him. Either way. So I press a button and I hold it. Press a button and hold it. Press a button and hold it. What happens on the 4th one? Any guesses?
You tap it.
Yep. And it pissed me off because it was some kind of informational screen. They had all kinds of words on it, and you were supposed to read them. And I was so used to pressing and holding, that I just hit the button because I figured I would have to press and hold. And it was gone. I think I just gave my soul to a demon or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was really mad.
I would be too. And was that the new one, Uncharted, with like the female cast?
I think so. I just
I haven't played it.
This is something that I think every game needs to have. A solo version for you to get better at the game. No other
100%.
characters are allowed to be there. It's just you. It's a test bed, like a black box. You do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah,
because
I get it.
The controller itself, like, remember how we were talking about the buttons on the Xbox underneath?
Yes.
It's almost that complicated these days where you're like, my fingers were like this for half the game.
I can't do buttons on the bottom. No.
It's weird. And so I think that it should be a requirement that there is some kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's a test or training game.
Yeah, I don't really get into like Call of Duty games, but they go through at least the first 3 stages is just training. and
Right.
you shoot your gun and you pick up stuff and yeah.
Oh,
and then
it was funny.
you go into your missions.
I remembered one of the games I was playing, PUBG. I literally went to the test bed because they have that.
Yeah.
It's training mode or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's 50 other people in training mode. It's totally lame because other people are literally taking pot shots at your noggin for the entire time. So it's like boom in the head, boom in the head. You don't die.
I had to stop playing PUBG.
Yeah.
Like when it first started, I played and they had something that was amazing that they should have never put in the game. It was your team cannot kill you no matter what.
Do you use points? Do you go down?
You just stop playing and then you don't respawn until the next round. So,
okay, wait a sec. Well, no. Because this happened in Counter-Strike. There were two different versions of Counter-Strike. You could have what's called friendly fire or no friendly fire. So anybody who doesn't know Counter-Strike, it's a first-person shooter, your team versus my team.
Yep.
And if you had it in friendly fire and you shot one of the guys on your team, they died. And if you turned friendly fire off, then you couldn't kill your team.
Right.
And so are you saying that how did they switch it? Yes.
So in the beginning, with grenades, you can't kill your teammates. And you can't shoot them, you can't do anything like that. Now,
got it.
With a grenade, you can kill your teammate. And it sucks because I'm one of those people that I will go to the center of the map.
Yeah.
I will camp there with a sniper and pick off every single freaking person. And I am so patient.
I love sniping.
I can just wait. I can honestly like wait in a bush or in a window and wait for someone to walk by.
Yep.
Yeah, until it's like, oh wow, look, I only killed one person, but I'm in the middle of the map. So it's me and him.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't play these games, these games are different than Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike has a set map. You can run anywhere you want at any time, no matter whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end. PUBG and Fortnite have what I call an ever-shrinking game field.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. So when you, and both of them have the same game mechanic, you literally float into 100%. The game.
Yeah.
When you get onto the ground and say you're towards the edge, they literally, you'll die. Like the whole map switches and then you're in the dead zone and you're gone.
Well, and that's how they make it. So each round only lasts like 5 minutes.
Right.
So,
because otherwise people would camp all day. Because that's what used to happen in Counter-Strike. People would just camp.
Yeah.
But that's the good thing about Counter-Strike though too, is that it had objectives. So like if you were camping and your objective was to do something and the time ran out, you would lose.
Yep.
So it gave
100%.
one side an incentive to do something. There was always an offensive, defensive, terrorist, counter-terrorist kind of situation. That is so fun.
But yeah, I stopped when the rest of my team was going and they wanted to do something, and I'm like, I'm just going to turn off my microphone and just stay here. I don't even care because this is my strategy and I win like 70% of the time.
Right.
And with my strategy of just, I'm going to stay here. I got my gun. And as soon as I see someone, I shoot them.
Yeah. No,
and they would come back and they would throw grenades and I would die. And I'd be like, I'm done with this whole game. I'm deleting it.
I get it.
It's off my phone.
Well, that's why I'm getting rid of Stadia. First of all, I can't figure out some of the game mechanics because, like, have you ever played Super Meat Boy? This isn't on Stadia, by the way, that I think that I know of. Super Meat Boy, super hard. I mean, it's Contra hard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the reason it's hard is it's one of those 4-button combos. And there's another game on Stadia that's a lot like it. It's called Celeste. What? button, jump.
Wait. Jump. Is that the scary blob thing that eats people?
Yes on the first, no on the second. Meaning not Celeste.
Celeste.
But it's definitely me.
Is Celeste like the horror, like...
No, Celeste is like a little girl, or I think it's a little girl, running through like death mazes. It's like spikes on the walls that'll kill you and pits that you'll fall into and die.
Oh.
But it's very similar to Super Meat Boy. Like when I started playing, I'm like, wow, this reminds me of Super Meat Boy. But it's also super popular. It's a super popular indie game, just like Super Meat Boy is. They're just really popular. But the game mechanic is, like I said, complicated. Have you ever played
Yeah.
Contra, by the way?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I still remember the code from regular
The
Nintendo.
cheat code. Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
that before.
Yeah.
But
But you
without
know
the cheat
what?
code, it's almost impossible. Like
Right. And with
no
that
extra
cheat code,
lives.
I would still only do like up to level 4 and be like, "Oh, there's no save. I'm done with the game."
Absolutely.
Like,
I totally agree. And that's the thing. I was raised on games that were that hard. Like, I'll be honest.
Right.
Like, I used to play games like Golden Axe, and I'm trying to think
yes,
of
Golden Axe.
some of the other ones
Raw.
that were just super hard. Like, literally,
Yes.
you're on the third screen, and you're just button, 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 button. But the
Right.
thing was, there were
And
less
you're like-
buttons. Yeah.
Right. Get me to a camp where I can like kick the crap out of this little guy and get
Oh, yeah.
vases and life. And if I don't get this, I'm done.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the truth. These games do have save points. So luckily I made it to like level 2 in Celeste, but odds of me making it much farther aren't that great. But they use the modern game mechanic of like wall jump, wall skip, wall run, and jump and super jump. So you've got to be like jump, jump, super jump, wall run, super wall run, super wall jump, run.
Yep.
I can't just... My fingers are like, I can't figure this out. I'm sure if I put in the amount of hours you need to put in, because for anybody that doesn't play video games and they think, oh, they're just so easy, they're not. You're going to have to play, like Contra, great example. You can put 40 hours in, make it a full-time job, and I guarantee you by the end of the first week, you will need a beer. You'll be like, this is a harder job than a day job.
Right.
That's how I can't believe some people Twitch stream 8, 10, 12, 15 hours a day, every day.
Right. Oh yeah. No.
What?
My son is so good at first person shooters that I can't even. It sucks playing with him.
I'm trying to think of an equivalent of that for when I was a kid. Probably soccer, because like my dad and I would go play soccer, and my dad never played soccer as a kid. So like, I could run around him no problem. You know what I mean? My dad was super cool though. We would play all kinds of weird games at our house. So, sorry.
No, you're
I don't
good.
even know where this came up, but my dad got me video games when I was a kid, so I had like Atari 2600 right straight through.
Yeah.
But I never was a Nintendo fan because I was already on another system. We're not going to talk about that. That's another day, another story. But we would play real life games. So did you ever have a Nerf basketball game? The Nerf ball with the
that went behind the door.
Put on the
Yep. Yeah.
So we would make variations of that, and one of them was, and I have a visual aid if I can find it. I'll just use this one. This is good enough. Frisbee.
Oh,
This
cool.
happens to be a Star Wars 1977-esque R2-D2 that I've used and ruined all value of. We would take a foam one of these, and we would make up games. So, like, one of the games was he had to throw it so that it went through a certain part of my room, and then I had to throw it because we had a doorway, and he had to stop it on the doorway. We played all kinds of crazy games like that.
That's cool.
Kids these days, though, like, your kids probably play crazy stuff with you, but they're probably playing equal amounts of video games.
It's still like, if we're going to go anywhere in the car that's over like 20 minutes, they're like, Dad, can you turn on your hotspot? I'm like, no.
Bye data.
Right.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's so funny.
Do you know what I had? Like, I had looking out of the car and waving at people.
Right.
Like, that's what I had.
Right. My favorite was the annoy the other driver game. Like, do stuff to annoy the other driver and your parents aren't aware of it. Like, I knew people that would like give the finger to other cars and get them all pissed off and stuff. I didn't do that. I was my mom's navigator, funny enough. So here's the story.
Oh, yeah.
My mom and I would go to visit family in upstate New York. Anybody that doesn't know New York geography, almost everybody that talks about New York, you're talking about the 5 boroughs. New York, Brooklyn, Long Island, Staten Island. I can't remember them all. Queens, Brooklyn. I got them wrong, I'm sure. But that is literally this little teeny tiny section of New York. And New York is ginormous. So we would go to upstate New York. Most people that live in upstate New York, that's what they say. But we'd always stop at my aunt's house. And I was my mom's navigator. So my mom is not a person that knows left from right. She just doesn't. So we came up with a system, my side of the car, your side of the car, driver's side, passenger side. I would never say left or right. But my personal favorite was when I would be like, Mom, this is our exit. And my mom would not miss a beat and go, sounds good. Mom, this is our exit. Okay. Mom, our exit. Yep. Right by the exit. And I'd be like, that was our exit, Mom. She's like, oh. Now, if it happened once, I would be like, oh, right. It's a one-time thing. So as time went on, it'd be like, I'd be like, Mom, we're getting off now. This is our exit. We're getting off now. I'd have to get like super insistent.
Gotcha.
And
yeah,
it just always made me laugh, like every single time, because we went the same route. It wasn't like my mom was like, hey, let's experiment and go this way or that way. Nope.
Right.
It was always the same way. And there were times when she would just go on autopilot and she would just be like, we'd be halfway there and I wouldn't have to actually say anything because she'd be on autopilot. Yeah. And then we would get to a spot and she'd be like, where are we?
Oh, no.
And it wasn't bad memory or anything. It was just that she was on autopilot. And luckily, I'm a fairly decent navigator. So I'd be like, I'd have the map out. Because for kids that don't know, there were these things called maps.
Thompson guide. Yeah.
Pretty much. And we always had 2 or 3 maps because anybody that knows anything about maps is when you need one, you don't have it. And then when you want one, you can't get one. So you would always have extras just in case. And I'd be like flipping through and open it and be like, this is where we are. We're going over here. But yeah, that's the story. Sticking to it. Sticking to it, I say. Now, did you travel much with your family when you were kids? Like, did you go places?
Yeah.
Did you have any jobs, I guess? Were you like the soda
jobs
kid
for me?
No. I mean, like, were you in the back seat? Like, hey, we need sodas, we need sandwiches. Like, did you have any of that kind of stuff going on?
No. I'm an only child, so they were pretty much just like, hey, occupy yourself. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
Oh, that's so funny.
They're like,
well,
just,
I was a latchkey kid, so I have the same stories. You know what I mean? Like, I'd get up, get myself ready for school. I'd go to school. I'd get off the bus and come home. I'd let myself into the house. I'd make a snack. I don't think I'd see a family member until much before 4:00 in the afternoon because everybody else was out before I was up, and they were back after I was. So
yeah,
I know that.
I remember like some of my first memories. Like I think we drove from Orange County to like Big Bear or something like that. And we would always get
it's about a 2.5 hour drive. Just so everybody knows. And it's pretty much straight up.
Straight up, and then you have a windy road and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, so super scary.
Yeah. I got married in Lake Arrowhead, by the way.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
Throwing that out there.
And I worked at a Boy Scout camp.
Cool. I went to YMCA camp
because there was the Order of the Arrow. It was a big thing.
Oh,
so anyway, back to Arrowhead. And Arrowhead was actually a camp near where I grew up. But back to Arrowhead. Cool. You got married there.
So I remember right before we would get up to the hill, I would be asleep, and I'm talking like it's one of my first memories, so I was probably like 4. I would be asleep in that little tiny area. The back windshield's here. Then there's like area with speakers, and then the chair. Yeah, I was like asleep in that back area. So that's how long ago that was. Wow. I remember that, and my dad would be like, we're going to get up the hill. I don't want anybody throwing up in the car, so you might want to look out the window and and wake up. And if you need to go to the bathroom, do it now, because I ain't stopping. I'm like, okay.
For anybody that hasn't driven to Big Bear, there's no really good places to stop anyway. It's basically, it reminds me of the Swiss Alps. Whenever I see like those windy roads, I always think it's Europe. Yep. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Big Bear. And it's literally like 5 feet to the right when you're coming down, or 10 feet to the left when you're going up. You're over a cliff. Like if you just 100%. Don't pay attention for 10, 12 seconds, you're dead.
You're done.
Because not a lot of it has guardrails and stuff. And because I don't think they could put guardrails on it without taking the whole road down.
What always got me was, I don't think there's been one time that I went up to Big Bear, and I went up there quite a bit, where you don't see people riding bikes up the hill. And I'm like, What are you doing? How are you doing
pure
this?
Insanity.
Yeah,
that's pure insanity.
Why?
Nope. But I do know that a lot of cycle trainers, people that are training for
that's what I was just gonna say.
Cycling. Yeah.
Well, that's where they do the blood doping too, where they'll go up and they'll exercise in Big Bear and then take their blood and then put it.
That you say that, that's what Rousey did. Ronda Rousey went in. She was literally doing all of her strike training in Big Bear, if I remember correctly, for the same reason. Because kids, if you don't know this, different altitudes affect your body. So when you're at a higher altitude, if you do serious training like running or bike riding, I don't know if it works the same for muscle, like weightlifting and stuff, but I know for a fact it works for aerobic stuff. And then you go down to sea level, you're like a god. You have so much more strength and stamina because the air is basically super thin up at Big Bear.
Yep.
And again, that's where a lot of the cyclists went, because
I know a lot of boxers are up there too.
Yeah,
there's a big old
that's why
boxing
Rousey went there.
Yeah.
She went to a legit boxing ring to learn how to do strike. But
like Sugar Ray or something. Whatever, something.
Yes, not Sugar Ray, but Sugar something.
No, Sugar Ray Leonard. Guy. Is it Sugar Ray Leonard?
No. I do not believe it's Sugar Ray Leonard. He is a famous boxer, but I think the guy we're talking about is a trainer, and his name is also Sugar. But
it's Sugar. It's name. Sugar something. Yeah.
Yes. But they do it for Tour de France. Now, you know what I think is crazier than going up on a bike?
Going down the hill.
Absolutely. No way. Not happening. I've watched the Tour de France
just be
so
breaks
many
the
times.
whole time, like.
I cannot watch them going down the hills in the Tour de France. I just can't watch it. It's literally bicyclists doing 80 and 90 miles an hour on a bike on a hill that winds. No. Nope. Not doing it.
And then you always see like the one person that's kind of out in front and he crashes and then they all just run over him and you're just like,
Yep.
Nope, I'm done.
Bicycle pileups, car pileups are horrible. Like they're just a mass of like car mangle. And the guys a lot of the times have serious injuries. But when you see a bike crash, so much more horrific in my opinion, because you literally see the person's body just and then you see the next guy.
Right. And they do it. Just like anything, like when you see like the Olympics and like the pro skaters that are just going around in circles and then one of them crashes and they all go after him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, no.
Oh yeah. It's nuts.
No.
Well, the one that I always like when they're doing the skating.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but when they lose their edge, it's what you're talking about. Like they're going like this really fast in the oval, and then they lose their edge, and they just sort of drift. And if they're in the middle of the pack, they drift with 3 other people because they all get caught in that dude's drift. Oh, I don't think I could do that either. Could you, like, not that I have any like actual talent when it comes to physical activity, but competitive speed skating has always kind of freaked me out because you have big giant razor blades basically on your feet.
Yes, 100%.
Oof. And the ones that they use for speed skating are like 14, 15 million feet long. I mean, they're huge when you see them in the real world. Oof.
Yeah. I'm surprised there hasn't been like a horror movie where like they use that as like as the main killer's weapon.
Tanya. You haven't seen that? It's a great horror film. Sorry. I had to go there. It's the only thing that I know of that is actually like it was horrific. But you're right. That would be a great weapon. Like a Freddy Krueger-esque person. Like they were a jilted lover of a ice skater and they got killed.
Or even make it like a funny comedy and put Will Ferrell in it as the killer. Yeah.
Not a huge
And he only kills.
I like him.
See?
I could take it or leave it.
I think he would be really good if he's playing like a serial killer.
He did an ice skating movie.
Yes, Blades of Glory was awesome. Yeah. Do it part 2, but have him kill off all the competition.
Make it into a horror film, slasher film.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
And he's got to wear the skates on his hands, though. That's what I'm thinking. He's got to be like, and then his feet.
I get that, yeah. And then he can do something where he's like laying down on the ice with that. Like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Not a huge Will Ferrell fan, so I probably wouldn't watch it.
I like
That's
Will
what
Ferrell.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh no, I totally understand.
There was a stretch in time, though. There was a stretch of time where he did some movies where I'm just like, what are you doing making these movies?
I understand. And you know what? I think that's true of all SNL players. Once they leave SNL, they go one of two routes. They make one horrible film, never make another one. They make one or two horrible films, never make another one. Or they make one good film and then a string of no good films. But they keep making these no good films, and then they sometimes come back on. Sometimes they come back on.
Yeah, I think he came back on. I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever stories you have, but there is movies that are in my top movies that I'm like Will Ferrell movies.
Now, was Will Ferrell in Night of the Roxbury or Night at the Roxbury? The two characters.
Yes, I think so.
I thought that was him.
Yeah.
Horrible film.
But that was like early on.
Yeah. That was like right after he left SNL. He might have still been on it at the time.
He might have, yeah.
The only person I know that literally like comes out of SNL, well, actually there's two, but comes out of SNL and then hits the ground running was Sandler. Like Adam Sandler, man.
Yeah.
Slayed it. I should also say Eddie Murphy did as well. The thing is, though, that Eddie Murphy literally kept Saturday Night Live alive by himself.
100%,
like without Eddie Murphy, I don't know if Saturday Night Live exists after a certain point.
So how far back are we going? Because like Chevy Chase had a really good career.
Yeah, but Chevy Chase left as an SNL like in the first season.
Bill Murray had, yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. I guess what I was saying, see, Sandler did all of his own production. And I guess I was going with the new school. Yeah. Yeah, but Myers,
After the Love Guru, if he didn't make Love Guru, he would still be making movies.
Oh, I agree. There's just, there were a lot of SNL players that made a lot of really bad films. And a lot of them were based on SNL characters. So that's, I guess, what I was trying to say. And you make one of those bad films, you're done. And we just said it. Like, Myers was good, made one film, done. And Eddie Murphy's career was in a bad spot for a little bit. Yeah. But he's come back in a huge way, which makes me super happy.
Have you heard his music? His music is really good, too.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I like his music.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yes, he's good, but he's not Prince. You know what I mean? Like, and again, like, no. I'll be honest. Eddie Murphy as a comedian is at Prince level as a musician. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I get that.
Would put them at the same level. And when you switch sports, when you do a Michael Jordan to baseball, you're a better basketball player, Michael. Just saying. And the same kind of thing with Eddie Murphy. Okay. It's funny that you should say this. So for me, the person that I think is an amazing comedian and an amazing musician is, I'm going to say Jamie Foxx. Is that the right name?
Yes. Jamie Foxx is awesome.
The only thing is, I can't hear that story about the time that he met Kanye anymore. I've heard it on 7 different shows. It's a great story. Just after the 7th time, I'm like, please don't tell the Kanye story anymore. And you know the backpack? Guess who it was? It's Kanye. Thanks. And then come on back to my studio. But if you haven't ever seen it, I would highly recommend checking out Kanye West's story about. Give me a second. Seriously?
I don't know.
The most famous one ever. You're going to be this way. They're giving me a picture of him, too. It's making me so mad. So what I did was I did a search for ginger musician. And, of course, it brings him up, but it's not bringing his name up, which is why I can't remember it. Ed Sheeran. Jesus, I hate when my memory sucks. So there's a Jamie Foxx Ed Sheeran connection. That's my favorite story. favorite story that I've ever heard him tell, period. If you aren't aware, before he was super famous, Ed Sheeran slept on Jamie Foxx's couch for like months and months and recorded at his house. And yeah, I'm a huge Ed Sheeran fan. Well, as much of a huge fan as I'm going to be of a pop musician, if that makes any sense. Like I like more obscure music. Like I'm a Caius fan, and people are like, Caius, who's that? Queens of the Stone Age, for anybody who doesn't know who Caius is. Without Caius, there is no Queens of the Stone Age, as a side note. But I like more of that genre of music than pop. But if I'm going to listen to pop, I'll listen to Ed Sheeran. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, totally.
Now, who, musician-wise, do you like, but they're not like, you're not going to put them in rotation? Do you know what I mean? Like poppy kind of thing. Like, do you have like a Britney Spears thing or a Christina thing?
No. Let's see.
Love that. No. Just keep going down the list. No. No.
Let's see. Let's go funny. Pop music.
Pop music. WAP.
Oh man.
So
I don't listen to a lot of pop music.
Oh, sorry. Did you like my use of WAP today?
Yes.
Right before the show? So everybody in the audience, go ahead.
I was gonna say if you're gonna force me to listen to pop, it would be like Michael Jackson, but that's
I got you.
I won't listen to him like
you're
every
at gunpoint.
Every single day. I grew up with Michael Jackson. Like he was everywhere when I was a kid.
He was
like Thriller was the
and you
best
were in California.
thing.
It was even worse, I think, here in California. I mean, it was bad everywhere. And I don't mean bad. It was good, but he was everywhere.
I mean, there ties back our Eddie Van Halen with Michael Jackson because he did the solo to Bad, yeah. Or
yes,
to
oh no.
Yeah, I think it was Bad. No, Beat It. Beat It.
Yeah. I was going to say
which is one of the best guitar solos. Like
yes.
You listen to Beat It and you're just like, where did this guitar come from and what the hell's going on? Like
the only other tie-in that I liked a little bit more than that, just because I like the band, was when the Beastie Boys had the Slayer guitarist do the solo. And I forget the exact song, but it's hilarious because it's the Beastie Boys in their early days, like first album, I think. And they did a video for it, and all of a sudden, like, I got Kerry King in my head. I forget the Slayer guitarist's name. I'm going to look it up just so that I can piss off less people by remembering less names. I don't think it was Hannerman. I think it was Kerry King. But anyway, you have, like, the heaviest band of all time, Slayer, and out comes coming like, and Beastie Boys are jumping around like maniacs, and then all of a sudden this freaking amazing solo out of nowhere that you're not expecting, but it is a Slayer solo, and so Van Halen solo, Slayer solo. I'm not a guitarist, but I can tell you from guitarists I know, it's hard to gauge the two. Right. You know what I mean? It's sort of like Picasso versus Van Gogh. Who's winning?
Well, yeah, and it's totally different genre of music too. You're like, woo. Wait, what? How did you just fit this awesome solo into this pop song and made it sound amazing?
Yeah, make it as though the song was built around the solo kind of thing. Like it fits so perfectly that you're like, you couldn't imagine it not being there.
And I think Michael Jackson was just like, do whatever you want to Eddie Van Halen. He was just like...
Well, that's what I was about to say. Yeah. That is some of the genius of Michael, is that he didn't stifle people. That wasn't his thing. He wasn't like...
Did you see This Is It? Like that?
I have.
The last... I mean, he's a genius. Like, all his crap that he's done aside. Yes. Musically, he was telling those people, like, you're playing it, like,
you're off.
Half a beat off.
You're
like,
off.
And he would be like, they're like, what are you talking about? And then he would just do it with his mouth, and they're like, oh, okay, okay.
And that's the thing. Okay, so we need to discuss this because we, on previous shows, brought up what I call the Disney factory. Disney, for anybody that doesn't know, a long time ago, and I think they brought it back, used to have a show called The Mouseketeers. And they use that show as a platform to develop talent for their movies, for their other stuff. And so we have talked in the past about Aguilera and Timberlake and Britney Spears, because they were part of a group of people that came up. They're all either A, B, or C celebrities. Like there's 8 or 10 of them. Same exact thing for Michael Jackson. Same exact thing happened to him. The difference is it was his brother, because he has more than one, and his dad. He was in the Jackson 5 at what, 5? And they literally would work every single day, 8-10 hours a day, every day. Overwhelming 100%. To me. Because his dad wanted them to be famous. And he literally made them famous, period.
Oh, he did,
Without their dad,
they were everywhere.
I don't think they become who they become. And I'm just glad that Michael at some point was able to break away from that. Like,
me too.
But I also think that it messed him up. Like,
he was so messed up.
Yeah. And we've talked about this. Any child actor or child star is going to have a difficult time in life because that world is so different than the real world. It just is.
Of course.
I mean,
because there's a point in time where you're not that person anymore. Like you were this person in the spotlight. Yep. You haven't done anything, or what you've done, people don't like. So now you have to deal with reality. Who are you? And they're like, I don't know who I am. I have no idea.
Always comes to mind whenever you bring something like that up. Leif Garrett is the first one that pops to mind.
Yeah. And then Macaulay Culkin for me.
You see, I'm different with Macaulay because yes. You see, the difference is, first of all, nobody knows who Leif Garrett is. Like, if literally you're watching this and you know who Leif Garrett is, you're like the 2 people. Like, if 1,000 people watch this, I would say 10 people actually know who that dude is. Whereas Macaulay Culkin, freaking everybody knows that kid. Everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the main difference for me. The second difference is he bounced back, meaning that he got so much money, he could just coast. Like, he's got Home Alone money. He has to. Because he didn't have to work for years and years and years and years. And then he started taking pot shots at the industry. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Yep. And everybody was annoyed by him in the industry. And he's like, I don't give a shit. I just don't. I don't care about you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So I could see why you're saying that he went into a direction and he kind of just stayed in this weird genre or weird area. But any child star, just
like,
not a good life.
Because you don't hear much of like, who was that actress? Dakota Fanning. Like, the sister's around. The sister's around doing stuff.
Well, you see, I'm a Twilight fan, so Dakota's big in the Twilight world. But you're right. I haven't seen a lot of Dakota recently.
But her sister's in lots of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, they're double and triple threats, meaning they weren't ever just actresses. They also both had decent-sized modeling careers, and they had decent-size... Trying to think, there's something else they did. They weren't singers, but they were like print models, and I think also video models. They just did a lot. I mean, working... It's funny, living in Southern California, the number one thing that anybody that's trying to be an actor, because I've met plenty of people trying to be an actor, is they just want to work. Yes. That's it.
Right.
They want to be a working actor, period. And it's not like that in other industries. Let's think about this. Is there a guy going, I just want to be a working garbage man? I never like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm a working dishwasher. Right. I'm like, I was glad I had a job. But I wasn't like, oh my God, it's my dream job. I'm a dishwasher. It's very few industries that are like that. And Gary Vee said something really cool about that one time. He said, because anybody who doesn't know who Gary Vee is, look him up. You'll either love him or hate him. Most people that hate him first off will love him later. But anyway, his theory back 10, 15 years ago is that there will be people that will literally live their life and make money off of it. And at the time he said that, because this was like late 90s, early 2000s, literally people thought he was smoking crack. And if you could have like taken someone and put them in a criminally insane asylum, I guarantee you there were a lot of people that were like, this dude, criminal insane asylum. Jump forward to today, where people actually live their life and make money off of doing what they do for a day-to-day. And his quote that always sticks in my head is, you have the audacity to make money doing exactly what you want. You better work your ass off. You better just work every minute of every day to do that
100%.
thing.
Yes.
And that leads me to the video games. Like, if you could get paid to play video games, I'm sure you'd do that. I'm sure.
I would.
1,000%
I'd drop everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why I trust your opinion, because, like, I got out of video games after one of these that's on here. Just because it was sucking up too much time, man. Like, it literally, gameplay sucks up time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I could contact juggle every day and people paid me money every day and I could make a living at it, that's probably what I would do every day. And
100%.
It takes audacity to do that, and you better work. You better work.
Right.
Love that feel good of the week, by the way. So we're with glitches. We're 2 hours and 45 minutes in. I say we save the games till next week. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally.
Cool. Okay, I did have one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and then I wanted to bring up a topic for next week. So I had said we can watch Disney Plus and we can link together and we can watch a Studio Ghibli film. But I'm an idiot. I was thinking HBO Max, which A, doesn't have this link ability, and B, you don't even have. So we can't do that for Christmas. So we'll have to pick a different film from Disney. So for anybody in the audience, we were going to do, we're doing in October, we're doing October 27th live on Twitch. We are going to be doing a Night of the Living Dead viewing party. You're invited.
Everybody's invited.
Everybody's invited. Around Christmas, I wanted to do the same thing with a Studio Ghibli film. Ghibli is Hayao Miyazaki's animation company. I'm trying to think of the words. And he is considered the Walt Disney of Japan. His movies I find to be amazing, and I wanted us to do one. The problem is that A, we couldn't actually do it live. There's a lot of problems with it. So what I'm thinking, because you don't have HBO Max, and I couldn't figure out how you and I could watch it. So I'm thinking that we're going to pick a Disney film. So put your thinking cap on. We're going to do a watch party, which is we're going to watch it, and we're going to put a clip of it in the corner every once in a while. Maybe, maybe not. And you're going to be able to watch it at the same time we do. And we're all going to have like a big talk about it. So, but I felt bad because I was talking it up like, oh yeah, you can watch all these Ghibli films. And you're like, yeah, I've never heard of them. You're talking about Spirited Away. What was the one that you mentioned? Was it Spirited Away? Is that like the only one that you know?
I think there was another one, but I don't remember the name right now.
No worries.
Yeah.
I happen to be wearing a Totoro shirt now that I think about it.
Oh.
This is
Daria.
Whatever. I don't think I've
Remember
watched a lot of Daria from MTV.
Oh, I love Daria.
Yeah.
Because it was nestled. It was like Daria, then Ren and Stimpy.
Yes.
And then Aeon Flux.
Aeon Flux.
Beavis and Butthead was around Aeon Flux, somewhere around there. And I just
Aeon
watched
Flux.
it all.
Yeah.
I do too.
Have you ever watched all of the cartoon or the anime? Aeon Flux, like from start to finish?
Yes.
Super confusing. So confusing.
Oh, 100%. Especially when they're like kissing and they pass notes through teeth. And it's...
Yeah, that was probably the least confusing thing of that show, by the way. Not to be mean to you, but like that show had so many things like that. And I thought that was genius,
find out,
by the way.
If you guys haven't...
Yeah.
Right. If you guys haven't found out, I'm going to spoil it for you guys.
Yep.
When you get to the end, you don't...
Spoiled.
You don't know what Aeon Flux actually it is because there's a whole bunch of them. And you're like, which one was I watching the whole time? I don't know. What's going on? Huh? How is she not falling out of her clothes? I don't know what's going on.
Now, I was not a huge fan of the movie. I liked it, but I wasn't like, oh, wow, this is the best ever. And again, it's because I was such a fan of the actual
See, I wish right now they can do the movie. Because if they did the movie right now, it would be so much better.
I agree. Because the technology.
The technology, they would, even though like Charlize Theron is great, but they would get like Scarlett Johansson or something to play her, and it would be awesome.
So I put a picture of Aeon Flux up on the screen so that people can get an idea of the animation style. Because the anime style is super unique.
It's fantastic.
And my big thing was, once I saw the final episode, the other episodes kind of come into play a little bit. But what you learn, and this is what you just spoiled, is that there is more than one Aeon. My personal favorite was the Klutz Aeon. Like, all the way to almost the very end, every Aeon Flux could dodge bullets, run through like a million guys shooting at her, kill all of the guys while running, and survive. Doing some weird cartwheel flip back.
And
flip.
I found it weird that they all liked kissing each other. I was like, what is going on here? Why is this?
Yeah, that society was weird. And I guess the movie did try to explain a little bit more of it, but again, super confusing to me. Super confusing.
And then the two different, like, if there was more than one Eon, they would team up to try to take down, like, that head dude. I forgot his name, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was just really weird.
It was so funny because it was a series of 15 mazes to get to this guy. They finally get to the dude. And for whatever reason, they forget everything, how to do anything. You know what I mean? You just spent 20 minutes to get to the guy. You would think that you had a plan once you got there. It's almost like we're never going to make it. So why do you think about that?
It's like, wait, do you love this dude? Do you not love this dude? What?
Right.
Stop.
And if you watch the movie, I don't know. It did make it. It made some sense, but it made it more confusing to me because the way they explained it in the movie is that you're basically the same person from 300 years ago. You just basically got re-imprinted over and over and over again, but you still have your memories from before.
Right.
So if you were married to a dude and you see the dude, like all these memories come back flashing to you and it weirds you out. Yeah, it was.
But you know, I think what MTV was trying to do was make their own Matrix. Like, honestly, at that time.
No, this was before the Matrix. This was before the Matrix. Yeah, let's look at Aeon Flux's date. Because
I thought it came out like right around the same time.
So I know that Matrix is 1999, and I could have sworn this was 1987. Like not that Aeon Flux, the anime, is 1987, I think.
Right. Something like that.
I was just guessing.
I don't know. Maybe
I'm trying to pull it up.
I don't know. I will tell you right
1991 to 1995, and it was MTV.
Okay.
Liquid Television to be exact. And yes, I understand how you could say like they want it to be like the Matrix.
My big old book of DVDs.
I have boxes of them.
500 of them here.
That's awesome.
Let me find Aeon Flux. Because I know I have it, and then I know I got it like right after the. I start off.
Oh no, I'm reading it on the thing.
Okay, cool. Dude.
No.
Beavis and Butthead and Viva La Bam is here. They're like my first things.
That's too funny.
Aeon Flux, disc 1 through 5. Yeah, you already read it, but yeah. Oh, see, I bought this one 2005. Yeah.
Right. That's because 2005. Okay, so this makes sense. The movie came out in 2005, and they had a huge press release / memorabilia. So 2005, they re-released all the Aeon Fluxes, all the animes, and they flooded the market with it. And so I totally understand why you're like, oh, it got taken from the Matrix.
Yeah,
that's a good way to. I never thought of it that way though.
That's totally what I thought.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because now I wonder if the not sure what to call them.
The sisters?
Anyway, yes, the sisters. But
yes.
I was going to say the Wachovias. That's not their name, though, because I have the bank in my head. Wachowskis. Jesus.
Yes, Wachowskis.
If the Wachowskis were influenced by Aeon Flux, because the style is very, very similar. I agree.
Well,
with all shiny
whoever
latex and
drew
stuff.
Eon Flux, didn't they also do an episode of the Animatrix?
Yes, I'm 900%
Yeah.
sure it's the one where the girl punches the guy in the face.
Yes, that one.
So for anybody who hasn't watched The Matrix or isn't into the Matrix franchise, the Wachovias, it's a bank, you idiot. The Wachowskis. I apologize to both Lana and her sister. So they took the franchise and basically sent it to all the famous animators around the world. So I think there's 8 in the Animatrix series.
Yeah.
Or 8 videos. And they're slotted throughout the universe. So they have the beginning of the Matrix all the way straight through to like well beyond the Matrix. And the way that they did it, I really appreciate because it fills in a lot of the gaps.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the video games?
Yes.
Okay. Because
Yep.
they also filled in a lot of the gaps.
They did. Especially when you're fighting and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks just like the Matrix. Like the fighting style was the same. And then you had Agent Smith and then you had a whole bunch of Agent Smiths. And yeah.
Yep. And what I thought was cool was it wasn't the main characters from the movies. So for anybody who isn't aware of this, when Matrix 2 and Matrix 3 came out, they also had video game that came out that basically interwove both stories with the other stories that are going on inside the Matrix. So Jada Pinkett Smith in, I think it's 2, is like, hey, I'm going to go do a mission. And literally, if you go to the video game, you do that mission. And the whole movie is like that. I thought it was a genius move, but most people thought it was a cash grab. Because the Matrix made $1 billion that year. Or $2 billion. It made so much money when 2 and 3 came out, because I think 2 and 3 came out. Did they come out the exact same year, or they came out really close to each other?
They were really close.
Yeah. And they also put out the video game at like the same time. So it was like video game, Matrix 2 and 3, and all in the same 5 seconds.
So, we were talking about with that TikTok where they like rip off your head, and I was like, my last meal. So I want the cake from number 2 that they were eating right before I get the head.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt.
Yep, that's what I want. Yep. But...
Lipstick? Right. No lipstick. Sorry. That's one of my favorite lines of all time. It's not on your lips, dear. Sorry. Merovingian. Sorry. That's the character, and I'm a Matrix fanatic, so I could talk about that all freaking day. Back to our list. I have one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
And that is, we're going to push this one till next week. That'll give you time. So we're going to push the ones that, the video games. We're pushing the video games. And we are going to push Guilty Pleasure Movie. Okay? So, what a Guilty Pleasure movie is, it sucks. It's not a good film. Just not. But you can't stop watching it for whatever reason. It comes on, you got to watch it. Kind of go out of your way to watch it, even when you shouldn't be watching it, because it's not a good film. One that comes to mind that is not for me, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, is I have Striptease in my head. Is that the right name?
Ew.
The one with what's her name? The child star?
No,
not Striptease. Striptease is with Demi Moore. It's give me 1 second. She was on Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. I like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, but the actress from Saved by the Bell is in a movie that is bad.
It's Strip something.
It is. And I can't remember. And let's see how my Google searching abilities are. Showgirls. So Showgirls with Elizabeth Berkley is a lot of people's go-to guilty pleasure film. Like, they'll just put it on and watch it. I've heard a lot of people talk about the worst film of all times, the one that got an Oscar for the how would you say it? The Room is the name of the film, and then they did a movie about the movie, and that won an Oscar. And a lot of people have The Room as their guilty pleasure because it's just not good. Have you ever watched The Room?
No, I mean, I've heard about it, but I haven't really sat down and went, I'm gonna watch
this. I have attempted to watch it 4 times. I make it to about scene 5, and I just can't push through. You know what I mean? And I've tried to watch the movie about the movie. The problem is,
gotcha.
I want to see the original first. I can't unsee it once I see what they did. And it's kind of like a behind the scenes of how they did The Room. I mean, they say it's fairly accurate because it's based on the book. Tommy Wiseau's friend wrote a book about The Room, and The Room became a cult classic. It's a lot like Rocky Horror. People go watch it every week.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And then they brought out the movie with... I hate it when I can't remember names. Anyway, super famous actress. Actress. About The Room. This is how you search, people. This is what Google's for.
Yep, I'm searching.
The Disaster Artist. And it was directed by and stars James Franco. And I'm a huge Franco fan. Huge Franco fan. And he
made a movie that was horrible recently, by the way.
Well, like, have you ever seen
really bad? It was like Mad Max.
About North Korea? The North Korea movie? What was that called? The Interview. I hated that film.
Oh.
I think I made it 3/4 of the way. I was like,
I think I watched about as much as you.
Yeah.
But there was one that he just
Franco
just did. It's like on Amazon or something like that, and it's like Mad Max, and it is horrible.
Well, let's speak about his greatest film ever, Pineapple Express. Awesome film.
Yeah, I love that. 27 Hours was really good.
Won't watch it. Just won't.
It was really, really, really good.
Won't watch it. Won't. Nope. It makes me... First of all, I'm not claustrophobic until you show it to me too many times, and then I become claustrophobic. It's sort of like my eye thing. You're just basically rubbing salt in a wound. Not going to watch that film. For anybody out in the audience that doesn't know what 27 Hours is about, it's literally about a guy who gets trapped hanging by his arm for 27 hours and lives.
Yes.
And
it was
I have
a great
spoiled
movie.
it, I'm sure. Say again?
It's okay. It was a really good movie.
I've heard it's great.
Really fantastic movie. Like, if he didn't win something for it, he should have won something for it.
Zeroville.
Because
was it named Zeroville?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
That's the one that I just pulled up. Yeah, and it looks like
it's Mad Max, and it's horrible.
Speaking of which, I loved Mad Max. I was a huge fan.
Every single one of them that's ever made.
Yep.
I don't care who's the lead actor. It's all good.
See, I liked Mad Max's independent spirit for the very first film. Very Australian, by the way. Did not like the dub. Did not like the voice dub. I'm just saying. I like the original Australian. And then of the next 2 films, obviously, are probably some of the best films ever made. Beyond Thunderdome.
Yes.
And
you have Tina Turner making an appearance in that one.
Yeah, and she's amazing.
She is.
She's an amazing actress. Again, talk about a multi-talented, multifaceted person. She is just phenomenally talented. So what are the Mad Max series? Sorry about that.
Like Mad Max,
Beyond Thunderdome's the
Beyond
third
Thunderdome,
one.
and then
I'm missing the second one, which is funny because that's the one that made the entire franchise the franchise. Mad Max series. Because the first film was an independent film. Nobody saw that. Like literally nobody saw Mad Max in America until years and years later when the second film came out, which was, I guess Mad Max 2? I don't remember it being called that. Okay, so it's Mad Max 2, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and then Mad Max Fury Road. But there's a huge gap in time. Fury Road's 20 years later. Whereas Mad Max to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome is like 7-8 years from beginning to end. Mad Max 2? There it is. The Road Warrior. It wasn't called Mad Max 2. It was called The Road Warrior. And that was the first film that I had ever seen with Mad Max. And then I went back and watched Mad Max. Actually, no. For me, it was Road Warrior, Beyond Thunderdome. Then I watched Mad Max. And, of course, Fury Road. Because that was decades later.
Well,
and do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite out of those 4?
I like Thunderdome.
For me, it's a really close tie between 2 and 4, meaning and for different reasons.
The video game is the best one though, out of all of them.
Really, I don't think I've ever. Are you being serious? I don't think I've ever.
I'm dead serious.
Whoa, I don't.
The
remember
video
that.
game is amazing.
I do not remember that. What? Okay.
It
what
came out recently.
Oh, it came out recently.
All
is it
of them.
based on Fury Road then?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the video game for that movie.
Okay. This explains why it's so good. I was waiting for you to say it came out on Atari 2600, and you drove a little block, and you had to make sure you didn't run into
Rockstar
a little
Games.
block.
Yeah,
that kind of sums it up
Rockstar Games did it, and
Rockstar Games is amazing.
It's freaking it. Maybe next week when we're doing video game stuff, we'll watch the trailer for it. But it's fantastic.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And okay, so for me, the reason that they're so close, because they're different films. Fury Road is pure, unadulterated eye candy from beginning to end.
Yeah, I get it.
Colors I've never seen, action sequences that I didn't even know were possible. I mean, it was just so over the top. And the plot, while thin, was not horrible. I've seen much worse films with much less of a plot. And then with The Road Warrior, that's just classic. Like that reminds me of a classic vampire film. I mean, obviously it's not a vampire film, but I mean, it's a classic genre style film. It's just 100%. Well written, just great film. And again, Thunderdome, like yours being number 1, Thunderdome, it's such a great follow-up. Master Blaster is amazing. Love the Master Blaster character.
But see, I like everything. I like most everything in that genre. Like, I like, let's go, let's throw someone out.
Yeah.
Yes, but let's throw someone out in the desert.
Right.
And just
Burning Man, basically.
have them survive. Yeah. But you know what?
I get it. I get it.
Even kind of in that same genre, I like Waterworld. Like, I thought Waterworld was a good movie.
Bring that up as a guilty pleasure for sure.
Really? Okay.
That's a guilty pleasure. People hate that film. I mean, that film is despised. But see, I'm not going to say mine, but yeah.
Like, and Postman, like that was like around that same genre, like time period with Kevin Costner. Like that had like.
I thought The Postman was good. I liked Postman or The Postman. I thought it was really good. Yeah. I did not like Waterworld. I could not get into it. I watched it 3 or 4 times, believe it or not. So for a movie I don't like, I've watched it a lot more than I should have.
I like really crappy bad guys trying to kill you, and you're trying to get away, and then you go into this like town, and it's basically the Three Amigo concept, where you get the whole town behind you, and you beat the bad guy.
Speaking of films like I'm a huge El Mariachi fan.
Yeah.
I've read his book. I've read all kinds of stuff from him. I just love his work. Oh, it's Robert Rodriguez for anybody who's wondering.
Yes,
he did
100%.
El Mariachi by himself. He literally wrote, directed, filmed, edited, scored everything about El Mariachi. Then he remade it with Antonio Banderas, which is a fantastic movie. The love scene in that movie, oh my god, Desperado has that love scene that I remember as a kid. I'm like, I cannot watch this. Like nobody has to. It's too adult.
Like,
now here's a film I despise, and I get in trouble with my partner for making her watch films like this. So I'm going to bring it up to you. The Road.
Oh,
have you seen it?
No, I dug it. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
No.
But
hate
see,
the ending.
I like. But I like movies where you're trying to survive something that happened to the world.
I get it. Post-apocalyptic stuff.
Yeah.
So do you watch the kids' films then? So a good example is Scorched Trials, which is, give me 1 second. There's a whole series, and they're kids'
I don't
films.
know. You mean like Maze Runner?
Maze Runner. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. I love all those. Yeah.
Okay. I read the book, and I had a hard time with Maze Runner. Like, I read the book. I love the book. I watched Maze Runner. I was like, I'm out of this franchise.
My hang up was
like
part
that.
2 when they
second one?
released all the weird zombie type
Yes.
of creatures onto them.
Yeah.
I was like, what the
Yes.
hell? No. Mm-mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get that. So, any last things you want to say to the studio audience before we rock and roll out of here? We've been talking for way too long. Way too long. Lots of technical glitches, though.
It's okay. I'll cut it down. I don't think so.
I think what you should do, and I'm being honest, is make a glitch reel that we put on TikTok. It's just all the glitches. And
that's fine.
Like, obviously we have to keep it in 60 seconds. So you're going to have to like cut the glitches apart.
Yeah.
The new drinking
I'll
game.
do that.
Oh, that's what we should call it too. The new drinking game. Post show.
Yeah.
As soon as I press this button, let it run, and then we'll just say goodbye.
Oh my God, wasn't that a long show? Please like and subscribe, and for those of you listening on the podcast, thank you. Until next time, this has been another episode of the TP Show.
Love that ending.